I don't want to get muddy. I don't want to slip in the mud.
So you felt that that was the only choice that you could make in that moment?
To have a direct path to them, yes, sir. Or to have a better path so I didn't trip over the tripod, yes, sir.
Did you move closer to them after you moved the tripod?
Yes, sir.
Did you help them with the arrest after you moved the tripod?
No, sir.
Why did you move closer to them after you moved the tripod?
Because at the time, Mr. Knowles had point, he started to either roll over or start flopping around. And that's why I moved in closer.
Do you think it was reasonable to move that tripod?
Yes, sir.
When you moved the tripod, did you see that this was a camera?
No, sir.
Did you look at what was on top of the tripod?
When I first walked up to it, yes, sir. I did.
But when you moved it, you did not?
Correct.
Did you see Dial slap the signs?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did he slap them hard?
Objection. I can't, my definition of hard years may be completely different. The way I can answer that question for you is I believe he used enough force to get the signs out of Mr. Knowles' hands. Now, whether that's hard, softer, or in between, I don't have an answer for you.
Do you think that Knowles held the signs in a threatening manner?
I don't recall.
Why do you think Knowles was arrested?
Objection. Sir, I wasn't the arresting officer. I was not. I was there for safety for them. I didn't have any information on the reason why they were arresting him.
Have you reviewed the pleadings in this case?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean by pleading.
The answer to the lawsuit?
I don't recall if I've read them, sir. I know I get information, but to give you an accurate answer, I do not recall.
Do you think that it's important that the facts present in the documents used to defend you are accurate?
Yes, sir.
Please get my equipment. That's not yours. Remember, I asked you earlier. Come on. You're going to leave my shit on the side of the road. Get my equipment. Get my equipment. You, dude, I'm asking for you to get my... Hey, I've committed no crime.
After Knowles was arrested, what happened to the tripod?
I do not know, sir.
We're going to turn this phone on. I ain't turning nothing off. I'm going to leave it right like that. Put it in evidence. I asked him if it was his. He didn't want to talk. I heard it on. Yeah. Okay. He knew where his car was. Somewhere up there.
Are you talking about what happened to it as far as where it went? Or
I'm saying immediately after Knowles was placed into the police car, what did the officers do with the tripod?
objection form? I know at one point I collapsed the tripod, but other than that, it was handed back over to Officer Dial, or at the time Sergeant Dial. I don't know after that.
When you collapsed it, were you gentle with it?
Objection form. I collapsed it like I would a normal tripod. As far as if I'm using the wrong word, when it's expanded out, how you can raise or lower them, I collapsed it back down to the smallest size that you can make it. I don't know if I was hard or gentle at that point.
Did you have to touch the top of the tripod to do that?
I don't recall how I don't think I had to reach the top of it to do it.
But are you aware that tripods also extend upward?
I believe so, yes, sir.
And so to collapse one, you would probably need to hold the top of it and push it down to decrease the size of the tripod. Is that your understanding of tripods?
I think you could do it either way, sir.
When you collapsed the tripod, did you look at what was on top of it? Is that
I don't recall.
Did you let the tripod fall to the ground after you collapsed it? When you collapsed the tripod,
No, sir.
did you look at what was on top of it? Did Officer Dial immediately take the tripod from you? Did you let the
I believe I handed it to him, yes, sir.
Did he let it fall to the ground?
I don't.
This land is cursed. Where my people roamed freely, now roams only death. It came with the white man on his iron horse. White man brought with him corruption, greed, vanity, ignorance. He killed on holy ground, and the Great Spirit has abandoned this place. The dead can no longer leave the mortal realm. Restless and enraged, they wander the worse than death. Undeserving, even for a stupid white man. Light still flickers within you, stranger. Go now. Leave this place. May the Great Spirit take pity on you. May your went to hell and came back.
Oh, it worked. It worked. And he is even in one piece. Oh, me? You mean us? Nothing but an amalgamation of souls. More important question is, who are you? The answer is, you're undead. We brought you here by means of our immense powers from whenever place you've been before. We know of your exploits and achievements. Your fame reaches wide across the country. The nasty rumors about you reach even further. You're our ace in a sleeve. Before you ask, no, we cannot send you back. Not yet. See, that's the nature of every summoning. It must have a reason. And a reason you have. As an undead outside of others' influence, you will be our torch in the dark. Your spark will become the flame to purify the rot of this world and free us from the unending cycle of despair. Search for the evil lurking in this world. Smell the sulfur in the air. Taste the corruption. Understand the shattered reality. Sense the vitriol staining the remains. Only then will you be free again and able to leave.
Better bandage that. Dusty roads call me again. What do we have here? What do we have here? My new favorite thing. This may be useful. And stay down. I don't need that.
You won't find any answers lingering here. Better move towards the dark place. Search for the evil lurking in this world. Snap.
Piled and purged! Something wicked this way comes. Splat! Gone with the wind. Oh, someone who isn't trying to eat me alive for a change.
What is it? A dead man I buried walks again. I sense the restless spirits nearby, but still I hoped your body would be protected by my charms. They were insufficient, as it seems. I found a body, your body, among the remains of monsters, and decided to bury you in a manner akin to my tribe. I did all the proper rituals, but it was not enough, and strong spirits have brought you back. I do not know if this is for a good or bad purpose. I am nobody. Used to talk to spirits, guide the tribe. Now tribe shattered. I remain in shame. wandering the lands, trying to fix what can't be fixed and lay to rest what is too broken. I found a body. Your body. Good. I would go towards the town if I were you. Find tracks of Iron Horse and follow them. I saw one of your tribe around ruins, searching for something. Maybe you take this packet. Journey past the tracks of fiery Iron Horse. Find a cave, which used to be a burial site for many of my tribe. Leave it there. It will help the spirits. And if you kill any creatures disturbing the peace of spirits, it will be for greater good. I thank you, Tainted One. There's nothing I can give you. Many a spirit here. Yes, Tainted One.
Since you're here, let us explain what is needed of you. This place has been corrupted by a curse, and you need to find its source. And if you happen to get lost, come to us. We may be able to help or ease your burden. For now, we know where you can begin your search. Follow the most strong scent of darkness around, under the burned church. Within ruined city, you will find part of your answers. Anything else? We could we? Yes, definitely. We could. We seek the cursed gold. You got the gold? Bury it beneath. We can do many things, but you can only select one. What will it be?
many a spirit.
Never know when I may need one. Alas, it's never enough. My new favorite thing. What do we have here? You better stay dead, pal! Want some friendly advice? Don't get back up. Disgusting filth. You can never have too much of those. Out of my sight. We'll need those. that will come in handy. I walk the land. Can't shoot with rocks. Bullseye. It's never enough. Spicy. We'll need those.
me again.
At the Sam Hyde School of Female Comedy, you're gonna learn how to improv, how to act with your body, how to project your voice over those annoying frat douche bros, how to craft a punchline, and how to time it. Just try. Oh, that sounds like an amazing value. But don't take it from me. Let's hear from some of our dumb
I was barfing when he was me. I didn't even know his name. And that's basically how I off my dad. So, yeah.
Does anyone else's pussy talk to them? Because mine does. Me and my chocha, we have full-on conversations. That Rita from last night dumped too much in me. And I'll be like, shut the fuck up! I decide when it's too much. Pretty good, right?
Perfect. Almost funny. Not only will I teach you to do these things, I will teach you to do them almost as good as a man. That's the Sam Hyde guarantee. You know I'd rather kill myself than lie to you. And that's my other personal guarantee, that I will kill myself if I lie to you. Now let's hear from a few of our
I would let.
What's up, baby? Shit, I'm gonna get hit. No, I'm not. Oh, right at the end of the iframes. Right at the end of the iframes. That was lucky. That was very lucky. I even tried to do it very, very late. We got it. Oh no, fucker.
All right, to the bucket we go. This is where anything can happen. Maybe you signed up for the chance to do a minute here.
Is that Andrew WK? Are you playing Andrew WK? Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, I pulled your first bucket name out of the bucket tonight. We're going to meet this person together. Make some noise for Darian Irwin, everybody. Here we go. 60 seconds, uninterrupted, by Darian Irwin. Here he is, everybody.
All right. Sorry I'm late, guys. I came here on a pedicab. He's dead. You know what I mean? That's just what happens. Just moved here to Austin, dude. I dig it. I like Austin. Austin's cool, man. It's a fun city. You guys have the scooters, the rideshare scooters here? You guys scoot? I scoot, dude. I scoot my goot. I fucking... People yell horrifically mean shit at me when I go by on a scooter. And I get it, you know what I mean? I know what I look like. You see me go by, fucking 2 scooters. I get it. And he yells some shit at me, dude. The meanest thing this guy ever said to me, he was not even trying to be mean. He just didn't know that I could hear him, right? Like he was standing on the curb next to his buddy, and I came around the corner right next to the curb. As I go by, he just points and goes, "Look at how strong those things are." That's me, guys. Thank you.
Fuck yeah. Darian Irwin. Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, sir.
Good stuff, dude.
Thank you, thank you.
A ground-shaking performance.
Thank you.
How much do you weigh, brother?
Huh?
How much do you weigh?
What was that?
You heard me.
What are we at?
It's a good question.
Do you know?
No.
Really?
I know.
Yoni, do we have the scale?
Dude, get the fuck.
Come on. Don't be a baby.
It's bad.
You can't really be insecure
listen.
at this point.
Yeah, but girls don't care.
Huh?
Girls don't care.
They can't.
Whoa, it's
No,
the
they
scale of destiny, everybody.
Let's do it.
It has arrived. Now, this thing's reinforced. I specifically bought the one that can hold.
No,
like-
there's a lot of controversy with this scale, dude.
Well,
I
It's
don't
already
know
got
about
3
that.
pounds on it.
Well, I'm pretty
I don't
sure.
know, dude.
Even if it's give or take 50 pounds with you, will be.
Oh, there you go.
All right, we'll do
It
it.
has been activated. He's getting on it.
You guys subtract the mic weight.
Wow, it's sticking at about 424 right now, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Not
shit.
bad. Good for you. Not bad.
I'm taking a win on it was lighter than Trey Pack. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. So you're the biggest boy that we've had up here, I believe, so
no,
far.
not even close. You guys remember Trey?
How big was Trey?
Trey was 480.
That is close.
He was 4. No.
That's not close. That is close.
Welcome to another episode of My 600-Pound Comedian.
I know,
everybody.
yeah. I thought about going the other direction just to see if I could make it on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you
All right.
want to lose weight or you don't give a fuck?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Austin's not the
thanks.
place for you. Where'd you move from?
Tennessee.
Oh, so you're like
This is normal.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I'm like a
beautiful.
fucking 8 back home,
yeah,
dude.
you're
It sucks out
You're
here.
a skinny mini cootie
It
patootie
fucking
there.
sucks.
Yeah.
That's how you gained all that weight, was from eating pussy.
Yeah.
Now it's keto, right?
Yeah.
There you
yeah,
go.
Yeah.
I love it. So how long have you been in Austin, Texas?
Almost a year now.
How long have you been doing
Yeah.
stand-up?
3 years.
Nice. That's very good.
Hey,
Thank you. Thank you very
you're
much.
mellow, man.
I love
You're-
both you guys. You guys are great.
Thank you, Brian. Who do you like more?
Brutal, but
Hey, for real though, I shouldn't compliment people on the show. Cut this out. But like, you talk real like slowly and confidently. It's like it's something I didn't
Oh,
get
thanks
for like
very
8 or
much.
9 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, but for real, cut that out. I have repetition.
I love it. I love it. What do you do for work, Darian?
I work here at the Great Vulcan Gas Company, everybody.
nice.
Oh, the fix is in. How did he get a number?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's fucking rigged. That's what I'm saying.
You think it's rigged? That
Yeah, that he got the fucking ticket. He got the call up because
Yeah,
he
all
works
right.
here.
There's a bunch of names in a bucket.
Yeah, and the one taped to the side. Don't say I didn't see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
the
this.
one-
This is the first time here. I've been signing up for a year and haven't come up.
And you got-
He's talking shit. Whatever.
Tony picked the one with mustard on it. It's a healthy condiment.
Don't do that. So, Darian,
Yes.
I actually know that you work here because I'm going to share with everyone at once a very, very interesting story.
Oh, God. I love
So,
it.
do you know what story I'm going to
No,
tell?
no.
No, you're going to love it. You're
All
going to
right.
fucking love it. Okay, so it was like 2 weeks ago. And a few days before the show, I had a guy that wanted to bring some people to the show,
Oh,
but it was
Lord.
sold out. But I didn't. But I knew that week specifically that we might have room, that he might be able to get tickets at the door. So I told him, when you get here, ask for the owner, see if you can get tickets at the door. They might be able to squeeze you in somewhere, right? So after the show 2 weeks ago, I get off the stage. I end up running into the guy. I can't even remember. I think it was from golf or something. Anyway. And he goes, "Tony, you were right. I gave $150 to a guy out front, and he totally let me in." And I go, "What?" Because I found it interesting because I never got the money, right? So I say to him, I go, "What did the guy look like that you gave the $150 to?" And he said, "It was a fat man in a green shirt." Hold on. No big deal. I go about my night. I talk to the owner of the club, the one that's supposed to, if anybody does, sells tickets at the front door. And we somehow gravitate all the way to the sidewalk here for anybody that's been here, you know how beautiful and luxurious 6th Street is. Just a vast land of planes and happy people. Clean is how I would describe it above all. Anyway. And I'm literally talking to the owner of the venue. And I go, somebody told me that a fat guy in a green shirt took money for the tickets tonight. And we look over at the same time. And there is Darian standing there in the greenest shirt you've ever seen in your life. I mean, just a type of green that was blatantly like, oh, wow, it has to be him. And I say to the owner of the club, I go, "It's gotta be him." And he goes, no way. That's one of my guys. No way it was him. I go, no, you don't understand. It has to be him. That's the fat guy in a green shirt of the universe right now. And I'm watching. He goes up to him, and I don't hear a thing because I'm on the other side with other people. But I see him ask you something. Yeah. And you pull out your wallet and you pull out exactly $150.
It gets worse. It actually gets worse than that. First of all, I'm starting to think this was fucking rigged. I'll be honest with you.
I have other things I could talk about if I wanted to.
I understand. I'm gonna get fired for what I'm about to tell you.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I will protect you.
Okay, but I'm gonna go for the laugh right here. What actually happened was Nick came up to me and said, "Hey,
wait a second. I'm about to find out Nick's stealing from us. Oh my God, this is gonna be so great. No, yes, I will work with you. I will take you to Rogan's Club if you're honest with me now.
I'm gonna be honest.
You will be the first Curtis. Can I get a thumbs up on this guy? I got it. The actual general manager of literally what is without a doubt going to be the greatest comedy club in the world. The first ever one built by a successful comedian. On top of all that, it's Joe fucking Rogan.
All right.
You got the thumbs up. You're going to be hired here. Please tell us.
So
He's about to get assassinated right now, folks.
It's so bad.
You're just going to hear pop, pop, pop.
I'm getting fired. But here's what happened. Nick came... Nick, no, it's my last night here. I'm very excited.
That's a good way to go
I'm very excited. So Nick came up to me and said, "Hey, did you take money for tickets at the door?" And I said, "Yeah," which is crazy. And then,
yeah, that's a wild move.
He said, "Hold on," and then he said, he said, "Give me the money." And I said, "Okay." And I pulled out my wallet and I handed him $100. And then he looked at me, and I thought, and he said it was $150. I said, "You're totally right. Here's the other." Thank you. Wow. I do want to defend myself a little bit though. I've never been a door guy before, and I did think their story was legitimate. I know this is crazy to think now, but I thought you were worth throwing one of us a bone and just not to say anything. That's what I thought happened.
Right.
That's what I thought happened.
So fucking.
You thought I was going to throw you a bone. You of all people. Like you need one more fucking piece of meat in your life.
As a former,
I thought you were going to throw me a boneless ribeye, 48 ounce, the side of cream corn and what
Dude,
the
that is
fuck?
a conniving Jewish fucking. If you were 300 pounds lighter, you'd be Ari Shaffir.
I worked the door at the Comedy Store, and I stole regularly. I have no problem at all with it.
Zero.
None. In fact, one time Louis C.K. did a show, and he said, "Only you have to go to the door, pay in cash." And me and my friends were like, "Let's just get 4 tickets ourselves and then scalp the shit out of them." And that's what we did. We made a shitload of money off Louis C.K. You did the right thing, dude.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
I like you.
Dressed in green, a leprechaun artist.
Very interesting. But Darian, you're not really Jewish, right?
No.
No, of course not.
I don't think so.
Honorary for the month.
No, you are built like a temple.
Thank you.
Why would you say yes to I stole the money? Why would you?
Truthfully, because I was
idiot.
I really
watch how a Jew does it. Watch how a Jew does it. Ari, did you steal the money?
What money? What are you
The king of the Jews, Ari Shaffir, is here, everybody. I absolutely love it. When Ari's around, I get to do any Jew jokes that I want. It's fun.
They're all being noted.
Darian, so let's talk about it. What else do you do for fun here in Texas? Tell us more about your life.
What else do I do for fun here in Texas? I gamble a lot. I have a crippling gambling addiction.
Ooh, what kind of gambling are we doing? What are we betting on?
100% poker, and I couldn't play that night because I'd lost $150 at the door.
Nice.
I had already had a seat at the fucking table. I was going to turn it around, and you took that away from me. So thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate that.
Oh,
we gave it back.
And we're back, baby.
He gave it back.
We're doing it.
I thought he was I thought he was going to throw that boss under the bus. He really didn't at all.
No, dude.
No, he didn't. He got both. He got a job at Rogan's Club and got to keep his job
Unreal.
here. I feel like we
Unreal.
sort of got played tonight.
I'm
Look
up
at
here
that.
just fucking playing Jumanji, dude. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
How many times have you taken money from me and Tony's girlfriend?
True. I 100%. That was. I really. It's so crazy because I didn't think I did anything wrong until somebody was like, "That's
Dude,
crazy you did that."
like Ari.
I know.
Didn't do anything wrong.
You are Ari Shaffir.
You're a door guy. It's sold out. You have the power to let him in if they make it worth your while. I don't see the issue here in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
That's
turning
the
me,
benefit
dude.
of being a door guy.
All right.
You never got tipped to get fucking booths in the front?
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. That's a part of the perks of working at the world famous comedy store.
Thank
That's
you.
a whole different beast of a whole different kind.
Yeah.
You're calling
You
him a
didn't get
beast?
a job at the comedy
No,
store.
I didn't.
That's right.
No, you got a job at Vulcan Gas Company on
Yeah.
6th Street.
And I got caught the first time.
That's
so.
crazy.
It's a different thing.
150 to get in? That's a fucking...
Dude, I tried to get
Top of the
300.
show,
He only
dude.
had
Oh
one.
no, we charge a lot. These people are fucking all very successful. The economy's booming here in Texas.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
When I was working the door, if you tipped me $5, you owned me for the night.
So Darian, let's talk about this crippling gambling addiction. of
It's
yours.
not that bad. It's pretty bad.
How do you
it's
do?
Is it strictly Texas Hold'em?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold them. Yeah.
Right.
Not
And what are
fold 'em.
we talking about? Like, if you had $400, how much would you spend of it on gambling?
What?
How much would How much would you spend on gambling of like your normal income?
$400.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd spend all, but what about money for chicken?
It's a good, yeah. It can't go. It's not all gambling. Yeah, I don't have.
Yeah.
Good. I don't have a problem. I'm excited.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Spend $375.
Yeah. It's not that. It's not that bad. But it is my favorite thing to do. It's awesome here in Texas. It's a great poker scene. I don't have a problem.
I think you'd be great at Hold'em. I mean, you have 2 pairs of tits right there. So.
All right. It's a stretch.
You have a full house.
Honestly, I think you carry it well. I think you're one of those
You
guys
have a
who
full
look
house
better
of
bigger.
pancakes, you son of a bitch.
There we go.
How about that?
Every house I'm in is a full
Yep.
house, baby. You know what I'm saying?
You have pocket Burger Kings.
Yeah.
That's better. You redeemed it. Two
I'm
other ones.
flushed. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
You should actually be good at these. You should have all these.
I know. I don't know why I've never thought about it before. All right.
Very good. Darian, what's your love life like?
I am married. I'm a married individual. Married man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody's surprised.
I know.
Every one of you went.
I know.
How long have you been married for?
4 years.
4 years.
4 happy
She wanna move out here too?
years. She's here, yeah.
She wanted to?
Yeah. She was stoked. She was very excited to move
Oh,
here.
she's here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not at the show, but she's around.
Oh, she's not. So she's not here.
Yeah,
What do
she's
you think?
in
You're
Austin.
asking if she's alive?
No.
Oh. Well, I mean, not like is she in the building?
Is she? She's not in the building. Is that what you're asking?
She's with us.
She's with us.
In spirit.
She's still with us,
Did you kill her?
despite. Yeah.
Is she a bigger lady too?
No,
Oh,
she's
nice.
not.
Good
yeah.
for you, man.
I
She Puerto
fucking-
Rican?
No,
Okay.
no. I don't have that problem.
It's a big problem.
I know. Yeah.
And she loves you and supports you?
I think so.
What is
Not support. She can't support me, but
Right.
thank you.
What does she do for work?
She's a teacher.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What is she teaching? I know it's
Third-
not nutrition.
Yeah. She teaches 3rd grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Young minds.
Nice.
She's an idiot.
Whoa, why?
That took a turn.
Wow. Good lord.
No, I love her to death. She's my favorite person on this planet. I would not be anywhere without her, but I fucking hate her. And
Why do you hate her?
Yeah.
she just talks. You know what I mean?
Oh, like a human being?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
I know.
This person.
Do you have kids?
No kids. No kids yet.
So then why do you stay in this if you hate her so much?
I love her to death. I can't
Oh,
leave. Yeah.
Oh, it's a love-hate thing.
I love her.
Right.
She's my
It's like how you
yeah.
hate ice cream
Yeah.
and you hate hate candy. Oh, how I hate bread.
Do you steal money from her?
No.
Good question.
Not all of it, just the
No.
2/3 of it. All right. Darian Irwin, very fun times. Good
Thank you
to
very
see
much,
you.
guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much. I
much.
appreciate
Darian
it.
Irwin, everybody. I do believe I think it would be arguable in court, but I do believe he just got a job at Rogan's new comedy club. So
Great shit.
Congratulations. You have one of those yet? Oh, he's already got. Look who's being honest now.
Stole one.
There it is.
This self-proclaimed alpha male just pleaded guilty to 11 charges in federal court. All of them were for some sort of stalking, and now he's facing up to 55 years in prison. And then on top of that, a fine of up to $2.75 million.
A man from Whitehall Borough who was accused of stalking women he met at local gyms pleaded guilty in federal court.
And yeah, I mean, to be fair, the guilty plea does kind of make sense considering he incriminated himself on his podcast over and over again.
Yeah, if you want to with a 6'2" jack dude who's gonna have a gun permit in Iowa, then yeah, you can come with me, see what happens to you.
So this guy was documenting his entire life in an attempt to, I guess, seem busy and successful to his peers. But it became obvious very quickly that the other people did not look at him the same way he looked at himself. I mean, it would be hard for him to sell some of these public posts as anything else but direct threats.
I spent 20 days in jail, and then last night, I post a story of a girl coming at me, and I said, "You all want to see a body?" Like, thinking like I just bodied this girl. Like, you got absolutely bodied and eviscerated on my story for 7,700 plus people. Why are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? Why can't we just like be friends and like fall in love? What is hard about that? Oh, because you have daddy issues. Oh, your dad didn't love you as a kid, so you have to with me? Oh, okay. Sweet. Love that for me.
Because it seems like he was using ChatGPT as some sort of like therapist and life coach that was essentially just echoing and enabling his insanity. And honestly, how much accountability are you taking when you're comparing yourself and your wrath, which is, I guess, stalking women in multiple states at gyms, and comparing that to God flooding everything?
You people, like, you look at me and you see my chaos and on my Instagram, and you see me calling people out. Jesus did the same thing. God and Jesus are love. They're a lot of love. They're a ton of love, but they're also wrath. God flooded the earth because he's like, you know what? All of you. I hate what you're doing down there. So guess what? I'm killing all of you. I'm done.
Yeah, that just sounds like some very weird justification to me, but yeah. I'm not following here, but who knows? Maybe I'm just not an alpha male enough for this. But you guys might remember me covering Brett Dadig and his AI-induced psychosis that we covered a few months ago, because this was right after he was arrested and charged with cyberstalking, interstate stalking, and interstate threats. And essentially, the whole guy is one of those cautionary tales that women warn each other about when it comes to men who go way overboard after facing some rejection. Except Brett, in a way, thankfully, was not lurking in the shadows. No, he was broadcasting his every move on his podcast. So that at least made things very easy for law enforcement to put everything together. But essentially, he was portraying himself on the podcast as a highly valued alpha male who couldn't understand why any woman would ever want to reject him.
I mean, let's be real. I'm a handsome guy. I'm a personable guy. I'm very successful at what I do. And I'm successful at most things I do. I mean, it's true. Like, you can think I'm cocky. Go right ahead. I'm confident. If that bothers you, look in the mirror and build some self-confidence. How about that? I don't chase, I attract. I don't have to chase these girls that don't want to give me the time of day. And I'll just go find one that does give me the time of day.
But in reality, he was just, conveniently tying everything together for the prosecutor to make their job very easy for when court started. Because Brett was essentially building the whole case against himself. The dude was his own star witness because he kept showing evidence of all of his desires to get back at the people who wronged him. And things got so bad that women on Reddit were trying to warn each other of this guy. But in a way, that didn't even help that much because he was already broadcasting where he was, what he was thinking, what he was about to do on his own podcast.
All right, everybody, we made it to Flow. Just pulled in. I'll take you guys with me. We're gonna go to Flow, baby. We're gonna be taking an F45 lifting class today.
This is just a really bizarre situation. definitely a 2026 problem. You would have never heard about anything like this in the 1990s. We definitely live in interesting times. Like, what kind of world do we live in? Things are getting bizarre, and I have a feeling that things are just going to get so much more bizarre as we go on. But I guess for almost half a year, Brett lived up to what he was trying to brand himself on his podcast for, which was becoming undeniable. But I guess it wasn't in the way that he was trying to portray himself as. Because, you know, he was trying to become undeniable for women, but now it's undeniable that he broadcasted himself and stalked these women. And, you know, considering he's facing 55 years in prison, he could be spending the rest of his alpha male days behind bars. But if you're not caught up to speed, near the end of 2025, Brett posts, I guess, his first episode of this Dating Decoded podcast, which only seems to have survived one episode for what it seems like obvious reasons.
In the morning, then we go get breakfast. Then she's like, hey, let's meet up later. It's like 8 o'clock, get a shower, meet up with her later in Lawrenceville.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm giving the background. Go yourself. Shut the up while I'm talking, please. Thank you. Anyways, she stands me up. I need this who pisses me off more than any human being in the world, but I still love him.
Because I know that your attention span is very short-lived.
Because obviously the group had some really bad chemistry because everyone was kind of freaked out about how Brett was acting. And we found out later that the group of guys met at a bar just a few days ago, and they don't have too much advice to share.
We're like the same person, but not the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I don't know where to go from this.
I would say we can talk about how we first met.
Yeah, I think you guys should start off.
Because it's a funny, it's like a really funny dating
4 days
story,
before us. So
Yes, so 4 days before, all right?
So what, Friday?
Yeah.
It's Monday today, so this past Friday.
There's a reason why this podcast is happening, because when you meet your mate, okay, and you know that they're the person, all right, you might as well go with it. All right, because what's the worst that's gonna happen? The next day is not gonna feel like the day that you just had. So just, I don't know.
Very well said.
Just keep going with it.
Especially not considering that Brett clearly didn't decode dating in the slightest. But like I mentioned, the Dating Decoded podcast ended after one episode, and the group had a falling out due to Brett's unhinged behavior, which I'm sure comes as a surprise to absolutely no one.
And then I posted a deranged video of myself highlighting what I was going to talk about. Video I was going to release at 8 p.m. as pay-per-view, you know, come see this beef with me and my friends. That's deranged. I shouldn't have ever done that. It costed me my podcast that I had with my 3 friends. It costed me my membership at Flow. Mostly it cost me a membership at 45. I lost memberships all these places. People were like, bro, you are literally unhinged and we don't know what you're gonna say next, and we can't have you be around us. We can't do it.
And the episode is actually still up on YouTube, and the comments are just going crazy because of the cyberstalking case that's going on right now with Brett. And I feel like the funniest comment here is the one that says, the one guy with the channel password is in jail, so they can't even delete this. Oh, man. But apparently this falling out served as the catalyst for Brett to say, well, hey, if they don't want to record a podcast with me, I'm just going to do a podcast with myself. And then he created the podcast called The Standard Podcast, which was his solo adventure about dating and how to become an alpha male and a high value male.
I want to be the best husband, the best dad, the best brother, the best friend, the best coworker, the best manager. Like I said before, I have a relentless drive to be the best I can be. And that's why I'm making this podcast, so I can share it with you. It's I have the chills talking right now. I literally have the chills because I want to share it with others.
And here in this podcast, he would commonly defer to ChatGPT when he needed more, affirmation regarding his concerning behavior. And I'm sure you probably know when you're talking to AI chatbots, they can often reaffirm your truths, so you keep talking to it. So in a way, this can create a very negative feedback loop, which leads us to probably one of the craziest parts of this whole story is you just have hours of podcast content, which is still up, by the way, of him going into full-on AI psychosis. Because here he just uses the AI to excuse his insanity or amp it up.
I'm just really happy with my growth over this period of time. I use ChatGPT religiously. It's my therapist, it's my best friend, I wrote this email and I want to make it nice. I will send a text out to someone and I will tell it, hey, analyze my text.
And what I find really shocking is just how much Brett relied on AI for his life. He would go to ChatGPT when he was feeling down. He would go to ChatGPT when he was trying to write messages for dates. He would go to ChatGPT to, I guess, pump out marketing garbage for some of his like alpha male jobs. And then he would go to ChatGPT to like create these like phony companies and create marketing material for these companies. So everything about his life was just being ran through AI. And again, all of this is up on his podcast still. And you have one moment where essentially he was brought to tears because he told AI to make a story about him meeting the girl of his dreams.
It's subtle, but I feel it. The moment this isn't just a fling, not just a fun story. It's in the way you text good morning without fail, the way you ask if I've eaten, the way you never make me feel like I'm too much for having 2 kids, like somehow that makes me more, not less. My friends notice the glow, my kids ask when you're coming back, and me, I just keep thinking about that first night at the bar and how lucky I was to sit down 2 stools away. Bro, I might cry. Holy, if a girl felt like this about me, it's so hard, man. I was just in jail for 20 days because I just wanted a girl to like me.
On the bright side, most red flags in dating are often kind of hidden, but this one was waving loud and proud. Because to me, this is just the textbook definition of AI psychosis. Because the dude was jobless, he was homeless the way he moved around, and he was banned from a whole plethora of establishments. And then of course, he was, I guess, loud enough to where there was multiple Facebook groups and Reddits warning other women about this guy. Yet somehow, I guess he convinced himself, maybe through AI, that he had authority to teach people how to date. So for months, he moved from city to city, continuously meeting girls he swore were his wife at private gyms, places like yoga and Pilates studios, F45, and Barry's boot camp. And often the girls that he would become enamored with were employees of these establishments and were likely only nice to him because, you know, that's their job to do so. And he would hang around, visit their places of work, annoy them online, and then pick up and relocate when he was rejected by them. And the dude overstepped his boundaries so far that he was often banned from the gyms that these women worked at and was even reported to local authorities. And this is all while he was recording all of this for his podcast. And then on top of that, he was posting all of his gripes, which were definitely threats, on his Instagram, which were then deleted. So a lot of the Instagram posts that were, I guess, referred to in the lawsuit have been deleted since. But even though his main Instagram account was deleted, he still has a whole bunch of Instagram accounts that belong to him that were his various forms of companies. And all of these companies just seem to be spun up on the spot using ChatGPT, and I think he just lacked the focus to actually just go all in on one project. But he was definitely faking some things pretty blatantly. And then on top of that, he also did a run club, but I guess you can only consider it a run club if running by yourself and calling it a run club is a run club. But anyway, he just continued this pattern because the dude essentially would go to a gym, hit on women there who worked there, and then eventually he would get banned because he kept overstepping. So then he went to a new gym, rinse and repeat, got banned there. And then when he exhausted all the gym options in a city, he would go, uh-oh, I guess we have to move up and go to a different city. And then once he was in a new city, he just repeated the cycle. I mean, this is crazy. And again, this is all while documenting everything on his podcast. And when I say documenting on his podcast, he was name dropping the women, he was threatening them, and calling everyone calling him out haters.
This pod is about a special girl. A girl by the name of Love You, Girly Pop. You are the reason that the standard exists.
I mean, this is such a bizarre case. And like the threats weren't like, you know, small threats either. No, he was threatening to do things like light the gyms they worked on fire. And then he also threatened to strangle people, but then he would like try to reel it in and be like, nah, I'm kidding. I'm changed. I don't actually think that anymore.
I could have said to them, hey, you guys. I could have. And I've been right in that. But that's the old Brett. That's Brett 12 hours ago. This is new Brett.
Yeah, okay, dude. But regardless, when the consequences of his own actions finally came knocking, nobody was surprised except for Brett. And the dude was already arrested in August. He had 2 girls get protective orders filed against him in Pittsburgh, and he was warned about name dropping and making threats about people online more than one time. So when he was finally arrested in November of 2025 for 3 counts of cyberstalking, I guess you could say that he should have seen that one coming. And he was being held waiting for trial when a federal indictment came in December, and that's why I made my last video on him. Because back then, Brett was hit with 14 counts, including cyberstalking, interstate stalking, and interstate threats related to 11 alleged victims in Pennsylvania, as well as Ohio, Florida, Iowa, and New York. Dude was all over the place. He was just being a menace to so many states. Honestly, like, if he wasn't that much of a freak, I would kind of be impressed by how much ground this guy covered, especially in that short amount of time. It seems like the dude essentially dedicated his life to just harassing women at their workplaces. Like, dude, what are you doing? So to the outside world, it seemed like it was pretty obvious that Brett was screwed, but I guess to Brett, he came out and he was going to fight this. So he made a statement saying that he was an upstanding citizen, he's never had any run-ins to the law, and he was mentally stable. Okay. And then obviously a lot of people started speculating, is he going to start blaming ChatGPT for this? Because clearly ChatGPT was like the co-host to his own podcast. Obviously, for legal purposes, ChatGPT nor OpenAI has nothing to do with him other than the fact that he bought a subscription with them and was just talking to ChatGPT on his podcast. Just felt like I needed to know that. But luckily, he doesn't actually try to argue that in this case, because on March 19th, Brett pleaded guilty to 11 counts before the United States judge, Marilyn J. Horan. And now he has a scheduled sentencing for July 9th, 2026. And I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that Brett is probably going to prison for this. Will he get the full 55 years? Probably not. But still, he kind of cooked himself here. Like, even if the dude is trying to be remorseful right now, he went on for months publicly cyberstalking 11 different women. Then on top of that, he threatened them on multiple platforms. He contacted their families and friends, threatening them and vowing to get revenge. Like, what is going on? So again, the dude's currently facing 55 years in prison and a $2.75 million fine, and he can get both at the same time. But Brett is currently being held in custody until his sentencing, but it's safe to say that he's going to get some time in prison because, you know, breaking PFA violations has a minimum sentence of 12 months in prison. So I guess we just kind of have to wait and see what happens. But if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace. This woman was just humbled by a judge after stealing someone's house because she claimed she had squatters' rights after booking a month-long Airbnb stay in Washington, D.C. And nearly a year later, the woman effectively took over the house, living there rent-free while the actual homeowner was suffering financially and was locked out of the property. And the wildest part is, the legal system was essentially powerless to remove her thanks to a loophole in a tenant protection law that kicks in just after 30 days. So it's safe to say we have quite the wild story. So in February of 2025, a woman named Rashan Douglas, who owned a property in Northeast Washington, D.C., she was renting out her house on Airbnb, and she got a booking request from someone named Shadia Romero for 32 days, which seemed straightforward enough at the time. Shadia said that her apartment had caught fire and she needed temporary housing while the damage was being repaired. And for the first month, everything appeared to be running normally. Shadia was staying there, presumably paying for her stay through the platform, and Rashan probably figured this was just another routine booking. But when March 29th came around, that scheduled day end of the 32 reservation, things completely went off the rails because Shadia didn't just pack up and leave. Instead, she informed Rashan that she was claiming residency and had tenant rights to the property. And yeah, because she'd been there for more than 30 days, the law in Washington, D.C. backed her up on that claim. So just like that, Rashan went from being a short-term rental host to being stuck in a landlord-tenant situation that she never agreed to. That sounds insane to everyone who lives outside of what, probably Washington, D.C. and California. I feel like California, Washington, D.C., maybe New York City has something like this. But to understand all of this, unfortunately, we have to talk about how D.C. handles tenant protections. But basically, in Washington, D.C., if someone pays money to stay in your property for 30 days or more, the courts will treat them as a tenant with full legal protections, regardless of whether you actually signed a lease with them or not. And that's just crazy to me because it doesn't matter if they came from Airbnb or VRBO or any other like short-term rental platform. It doesn't matter if you explicitly told them it was temporary. Once that 30-day mark hits and money has been exchanged, they're legally considered a tenant.
Would you say the laws in DC are favorable to squatters?
Well, they're favorable to tenants, and one person's squatter is another person's alleged squatter, an actual tenant, and the court is going to make sure that it finds out the answer to that preliminary question of has that individual achieved tenancy status or not. And so you're starting with the conclusion that the person's a tenant, but that individual has a right to go to court and try to prove that she's actually a tenant and afforded all of the rights of tenants in the district. And therein lies the rub. It's not easy to get a court to find an answer to that question. It seems simple. in the eyes of the law, it could become very complicated, especially in the district.
And clearly, those protections are pretty serious. If someone has established tenancy, property owners can't change the locks, shut off the water, electricity, or heat, remove the person's belongings, or even block them from entering. So, if you do any of those things, you're committing what's called an illegal eviction. And then you could actually face fines or criminal charges. So, essentially, it's a civil matter until the landlord steps in and tries to block them from entering, because then it's an illegal eviction. So, for the landlord to not turn this criminal, the only legal way to remove someone who claimed tenancy is to file an eviction case in court and then wait for a judge to order them out. And in DC, that process can take months, sometimes 6 months or even longer if the person fights it or files motions to delay it. And unfortunately, you have people who are professional at abusing laws like this and essentially steal people's homes. So once Shadia hit that 30-day mark and declared herself a tenant, Rashan's options basically evaporated. But she definitely tried to fight it. First, she served Shadia with a formal 30-day notice to vacate, which is the standard first move for any eviction process. Shadia then ignored it. Then Rashan called the police, thinking they might be able to help remove someone who was essentially occupying her property without permission. But the police told her the same thing every time she called. This was a civil dispute, not a criminal matter. And there was nothing they can essentially do, so they just directed her to handle it through the courts. And that's when Rashan filed for an eviction in the DC Superior Court. The problem was that this was happening in March, April, and May, while her court date wasn't scheduled until December 11th. Yeah, it was literally the other day. So by the time November rolled around, Rashan was pretty much desperate and financially drained. So she made Shadia an offer. She'd pay her $2,500 in cash if Shadia signed a document acknowledging that she wasn't actually a tenant and agreed to move out. Shadia then, I guess, accepted the deal and signed the paper. However, again, on November 15th, which was supposed to be her departure date, Shadia told Rashan that she changed her mind and didn't move out. So the same thing happened yet again. So according to Rashan, she said, "This no longer works for me. Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving." Which is a crazy thing to say when you're in someone else's property. But Rashan, she brought that signed document to the police, hoping that would change something. But they repeated the same thing. It's a civil matter. You need to wait for a court date. So fast forward to late November, and Rashan started getting calls from her neighbors. They told her they saw Shadia and other people staying at the house pack up their bags, load everything into a car, and drive away. At first, neighbors were pretty confident that it looked like Shadia was finally gone for good. So Rashan immediately contacted the Metropolitan Police Department, and they told her that she was free to secure the property however she wanted. Acting on that, she disabled all the locks so Shadia's keys wouldn't work anymore, hired a contractor to board up the windows, and because there had been electrical problems, shut off the power to the house. From her perspective, this whole mess was finally over after 9 months of fighting. But then, not too long later, her neighbors called again, and they said, by the way, Shadia is back and she's breaking back into your house. Okay. I'm picturing this like Rashan is playing Call of Duty Zombies and she's like holding X to board up her door, and Shadia is on the outside just breaking apart the boards trying to get back into the house that she stole. Yeah, definitely not an ideal situation, but it's about to get worse, like basically everything else we covered, because police arrived this time and something different happened. Because according to Rashan, the police allowed Shadia to hire a locksmith right there on the spot and get right back into the property. She finally had her property back, and Shadia pulled back up and she's like, "No, wait a minute. I live there." This is one crazy confidence game because she has no documents that prove that she lives there. But hey, the locksmith showed back up and Shadia got back inside, and Rashan was essentially back to square one. But the next day, Child Protective Services showed up to the property, and that's interesting. But the reason was that Shadia had brought her young daughter into the house, but there was no electricity running because Rashan had shut it off when she thought the other woman had abandoned the property. So as a result, CPS got involved since a child was now living in a home without electricity. Also, side note, the fact that Shadia is doing this with a child makes things so much worse. But that same day, Rashan discovered that her work truck that she had parked behind the property had gone missing. So she then filed a police report, and according to her account, Shadia had attempted to have the vehicle towed by telling the tow company that she owned the house. Again, diabolical confidence game. She has nothing to prove that she owns this property or should even be there. But still, like, this is so sad and depressing, and like the financial strain for Rashan to upkeep this property while someone's literally squatting inside of it is awful, because most likely she has to pay a mortgage on it. She definitely has to pay property taxes, which are not cheap in Washington, D.C. And I can only assume that she would have to pay all the utilities as well. So it's safe to say you are incredibly unlucky if you have to deal with a Shadia. Also, I'm like halfway through the video and I'm honestly not sure how you pronounce Shadia. If I've been saying her name wrong the entire video, honestly she deserves it, but my bad for all the other Shadias out there. Shadia. Shidija. Is that right? But it's a S-H-A. This is kind of like that one video I covered recently where it's like, I said Bexar County, but it's Bear County because the X is silent. Honestly, my own name is also kind of like that. My name's Arling, but it's spelled with an E because it's Arling in Norwegian, but like in English, Arling is closer to Arling than what Erling would be. So, Arling. Okay. Shadija. Nah, I'm just doubling down on Shadia. Shadia is just I don't know. This might be a Shadia. Who knows? So all of these events then triggered an emergency court hearing that took place virtually pretty much immediately. And during the hearing, a bunch of additional allegations surfaced about what had been going on over the previous months. According to the testimony in court, Shadia had allegedly tried to physically push Rashan off a ladder at one point when Rashan was putting up a sign on the exterior of the house. The sign was apparently to advertise that someone was living there against the homeowner's will. But apparently Shadia and the people that was living in there with her, they hung a sheet over that sign to like cover that up. And there was also claims that Shadia had transferred the utility accounts out of Rashan's name and put them in her daughter's name instead. But the judge ruling at the end of the hearing, however, was that Rashan needed to turn the electricity back on immediately, despite everything that had happened. Meanwhile, the actual decision about who was allowed to stay in the house, that got pushed for the following week. So now, up until this point, everything that's been said reflects Rashan's side of the story. But when reporters finally interviewed Shadia, she had a whole different story to tell. So in her story of the event, Shadia claimed that she and Rashan had verbally agreed to extend the arrangement beyond the original 32-day stay. And what began as an Airbnb booking had effectively turned into a month-to-month rental. And she claims that she continued making regular monthly payments to Rashan for several months after the original booking ended, although she acknowledged that some of those payments ran into issues and didn't always go through. So according to Shadia, she ultimately stopped paying after losing $17,000, which was apparently a result of a series of financial emergencies, or something like that.
She sent me monthly invoices, which I paid those monthly invoices in order to stay in the unit. I had a month where I had a financial loss of over like $17,000.
Was that due to work or personal?
It's a personal issue. I helped someone in the past and it came back to bite me because everyone can see, you can search me because I'm not hiding from anyone.
But of course, she had nothing to prove her statements. And as the media continued digging into that story, additional context emerged that made the situation even more complicated, to put it lightly. Because remember how Shadia originally told Rashan that she needed a rental because her apartment had been damaged by fire? Well, that was a lie, because court records show that that story was not true. And according to documents obtained by the media, Shadia was already being evicted from her previous residence when she booked Rashan's property.
When you made the Airbnb reservation, because I saw the reservation, you mentioned it was for a fire. Around that same time, court records show at your previous apartment, you were also getting evicted for not paying rent.
So that wasn't for that place, it was for a previous place where something happened during COVID when everyone was not receiving payment. I'm an entrepreneur and I also have a nonprofit. So that's what that was for. The fire that I actually had a fire. There's a police report, a fire report for it. Police came out, the fire department came out and determined that it was an electrical issue in the wall that then created.
Was it at the same apartment building?
For
Ava Noma, that apartment, because that says 2023. It was you were there 2023, 2024.
So Ava Noma is where I had the fire, yes.
Ava Noma is the one showing that you were in the process of being evicted for paying 1 month's rent when you were there for 13.
So no, that would not be accurate.
So the court records are not accurate?
I did not go to court for eviction for Ava Noma.
So she went from one landlord squatting in her house, allegedly, to a new one, and then just rinsed and repeated. There was no fire. She never had her own property. She is just allegedly professionally abusing the laws and stealing homes. Because the records indicated that she owed close to $50,000 in unpaid rent from the previous address, having paid only 1 month's worth of rent over an entire year of living there, which is just insane. That probably doesn't even cover the annual property taxes. Meanwhile, throughout this entire ordeal, Shadia's social media showed her traveling to Jamaica, going to various events, and actively promoting her non-profit organization. And what is that? Well, for context, she runs a clothing brand called Love with Deja, which has the slogan of encouraging people to do things with love. And allegedly, she donates part of the proceeds to charity. So I guess as long as you steal people's homes with love, it's aligned with her brand. But either way, finally, on December 11th, almost 10 months after this whole thing started, Roshan got her day in court. And during the hearing, things got pretty interesting because Shadia was placed under oath and warned about what happens if you lie under oath. Basically, you can be charged with perjury, which is a felony in most states and definitely in Washington, D.C., which is kind of important because of what comes next. Because remember how Shadia had told reporters that she'd never been evicted before? Well, that wasn't true because she was confronted with her past eviction records in court and her story suddenly changed. She said that she didn't recall whether she'd been evicted or not, and then she argued that the whole thing wasn't even relevant to the case. Man, that's absolutely relevant to the case. It shows that you've done this tomfoolery before. Also, what a pathetic way to deflect. Either way, the homeowner also took to the stand during the hearing, and after listening to both sides, the judge made a pretty clear ruling. Shadia Romero did not have the tenancy rights to the property, and the judge specifically pointed to that agreement that Roshan had gotten her to sign back in November. You know, the one where Shadia acknowledged that she wasn't the tenant and agreed to leave in exchange for $2,500. The court also found that document was still valid and binding, and because Shadia had no legal tenant status, the judge authorized Roshan to have her removed from the property immediately, that very same day. So finally, after like 10 months, a massive W to the homeowner. Because just imagine a year of legal proceedings, mortgage payments, utility bills, and a heavy load of stress, not knowing when you'll finally get your property back. That's a nightmare. But thankfully, the woman was officially evicted from the house, and the reporters explained the whole thing here.
That's right, and this is actually one of the first times the homeowners have been back to the home in a couple of months. And as you mentioned, the judge ordered that the alleged squatter is not a tenant, therefore she has no tenant rights, and the homeowners were allowed to get her out of the home and evict her immediately, and that is what you are seeing. We have community members that actually came here to support the homeowners and help clear out the home after watching the reports and hearing what the homeowners were dealing with. And even inside the home, you can see some of the area that they have started clearing as well. The homeowner mentioned to me that she has been in shock and everything that was with everything that was inside of this home, as well as some of the damage that she found as well.
And with that, she could also remove the infamous sheet that was hanging outside of her house, the one Shadia had hung to block Roshan's message to the neighbors. That was also removed. And for the first time in months, Roshan was finally able to walk back into her own property without dealing with locked doors or authorities telling her she couldn't enter her own property. It's just so insane. So now, after all this played out on the media, Airbnb itself decided to make a statement, and the company confirmed that they'd been tracking the story through news reports, and they made it pretty clear where they stood throughout the whole situation. According to a spokesperson, all the protections Airbnb offers, which is their air cover 24/7 support, all of that only applies when everything stays on their platform. Hosts and guests should always communicate, book, and pay on Airbnb, so they're covered by our policies and protections. We display warnings across the site to stay on Airbnb, and we provide information on why this is important. It helps ensure that both parties are protected by our policies, terms of service, and safeguards like air cover for hosts. These protections are forfeited if users book and pay outside of Airbnb, which I guess means as soon as Shadia's original 32-day booking ended and she started claiming tenant rights, that moved the whole thing off of Airbnb's system, even though there was no business dealings outside of the app. But I guess at that point, Airbnb legally couldn't help her. This whole situation just sucks for the homeowner. But there was thankfully one action that Airbnb did take. They permanently removed Shadia from the platform. And the media coverage of this case got so widespread that DC officials had to start addressing it publicly. And it seems like there are even conversations happening now about potentially changing DC's tenant protection laws to prevent this exact scenario from happening to other homeowners. Because currently, the way the law is written, all it takes is 30 days and some cash changing hands for someone to claim tenant rights, and suddenly they can be locked in your house without paying anything for 10 months apparently. Because while pro-tenant laws serve a real purpose, again, they can easily be exploited by people who do this stuff professionally. And based on Shadia's history of evictions and unpaid rent across multiple properties, it's safe to say that she understood the system pretty well. And one can only hope that she doesn't go and find a new victim. But, you know, considering her track record, I wouldn't keep my hopes up too high, because I don't think she'll receive any real punishment for this unless the landlord sues. But the problem with that is the landlord has been tied up in court for 10 months, so it's not like the landlord is going to want to jump right back into court. One would think, at least. It's just a nightmare. This is literally a nightmare scenario. So I think it's just like really important to get the word out. If this person is trying to rent from you, be very cautious. Tread carefully. But hey, other than that, feel free to subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I really don't want to do that because I might do something unethical.
5 days ago, I posted this YouTube video showing what I believe to be the murder of an innocent man by police officers. It's gotten almost 1 million views. I did think I was going to do an update video on this, but I had no idea the crazy, insane update that I actually have for you right now. Remember, I told you that it was a judge's weed eater that the cops were looking for.
Last Sunday night, there was items stolen from my property. What was stolen did not belong to me. It belonged to a person that was using my garage to store his equipment in. And I was out of town when this happened. I knew nothing more than that about it.
Well, somebody has leaked a phone call between the judge and the police officer from this department. You're not gonna believe it.
Hey, David, what you doing, old buddy? The boy was shot and killed, right? Yeah, I understand. No, they called me at 1 o'clock this morning and told me all about it. Well, I hope we've done our job pretty good for you there. We got pretty quick on it with that butcher voice. You know, he's facing 10 years, and I'll see if I can't make that stick. I'm going to push it. You guys just do your job, and if you need me, you call me. Absolutely, Judge. You too, and you have a good Christmas too, sir.
I mean, I could see if it was somebody hurting somebody or, you know, fighting or something like that, but not over a weed eater.
I'm frankly just shocked. This is 61-year-old Douglas Harless, who lived in his home at 511 Van Zant Avenue in London, Kentucky for over 8 years. And this is 49-year-old Hobart Buttery, who was accused of stealing a weed whacker from a local county official.
I told them on Van Zant Road there was a weed eater there.
489 Van Zant Road, units on scene, serve search warrant.
And they went to the wrong address, is what that was.
A neighbor's surveillance footage shows the cops arriving to Mr. Harless's home at 511 Van Zant Road. It was dark. They knocked on the door. They spread out in the guy's yard. They all got into position. And next thing you know, 5 shots are fired. Mr. Harless is dead. The community there in Laurel County, Kentucky is absolutely up in arms. They held a justice for Doug rally. Cody Medlin from Medlin Around Productions graciously shared this footage with me of that rally.
Justice for Doug! Justice for Doug! Justice for Doug!
Then came the January 5th City Council meeting in London, Kentucky, and the people showed up in force and outraged.
I don't think anyone here fails to support the police. I think what happened and what has everyone so upset is that this looks like and feels like that it's indicative of some type of systemic failure where people are going rogue a little bit.
Why is the city police patrolling and serving warrants in the county?
I mean, I could see if it was somebody hurting somebody or, fighting or something like that, but not over a weed eater.
But the mayor of London, Kentucky, who appears to be, by my investigation, extremely involved in the operation of the London Police Department, refuses to provide any information or details to the public, claiming that the Kentucky State Police has taken over the investigation and he just can't say anything, can't release any information.
Under the express authority of the KSP, they have asked us not to say anything regarding this investigation. It is an open investigation. That is the only reason we have not made any statements regarding this, because, again, they're investigating it. It's not that we're trying to cover up. It's not that we are trying not to be transparent. Again, when the findings are done with the KSP, I can assure you that anything that the findings are, if there's any wrongdoing, accountability will be there.
But that did not stop the mayor, Randall Weddle, several days earlier from making a social media post, perhaps now deleted, that reads awfully like a threat in an attempt to silence people who are critical of this police department. It says, in part, "I am deeply disheartened by those who are using this situation for political gain. This is not the time for politics, but for patience and unity. The rumors and speculation circulating on social media are not facts. Assuming or spreading misinformation does not serve justice or our community. I urge everyone to refrain from jumping to conclusions and to wait for the facts of this case to emerge." Oh, by the way, there will be no body cam footage from the London Police Department because they, in 2023, got rid of their body cams because supposedly they could not afford it. But even members of the city council had no idea that their cops were running around even outside their city jurisdiction with no body cams on.
Councilmember Anthony Ortega stated there was a chief directive on March 15, 2023, that temporarily suspended London police body cameras because of cost, a statement that seemed to take some city council members by surprise.
We didn't have any idea we wasn't using body cams. That happened while we were in office. Did that happen early on in 2023?
Yes, it did.
Okay, well, I know the council was not made aware of any of that.
Mayor Weddle explained that the decision was made by the previous police chief, and while they still have the cameras, the department does not have the updated software needed to operate them. A monthly fee is also required to keep them up and running.
I know that the body cams would stop being used in 2023 because of cost. Does the city own the cameras that are going up on Main Street on the buildings?
Yes, they do.
Mayor Weddle says cameras were purchased in October of last year and then placed on buildings to monitor crowds during large events.
I say get the cameras off the buildings and put them on the cops.
And several members of the city council pushed back and also demanded statements from the police officers who were involved.
Council member Stacey Binge also put in a request for a written statement from London PD.
I will ask that, I think it's our right to do so, that we get a written statement from the chief of police and assistant chief of police with something regarding this night. I did attempt to call them. They didn't answer me. And I understand that they answer to you. They don't answer to me. I understand that they didn't have to answer the phone and probably shouldn't have. But I'm going to request that.
It's an open investigation and they can't say anything.
But still, the mayor hides behind the Kentucky State Police investigation. And of course, they've said nothing. Now, when a police officer is shot, you will see all these press conferences. They will update you on everything. But like here, where one of us gets shot, can't say anything. Can't compromise the investigation. Have to give them plenty of time to get their stories straight and maybe get rid of evidence. After the story broke and after I posted my first video, the Laurel County Judge Executive, David Westerfield, went out into the media and he was interviewed, and he said basically he had no idea that any of this had even happened. He had nothing to do with it at all. In fact, it wasn't even his stuff that was stolen. He just owned the property, and the stuff belonged to a tenant who was occupying the property. That's what he told the media. Therefore, that's what he told the public. This is the only clip I could find, but you'll see in the newspaper accounts, there are several quotes from him to that effect.
Last Sunday night, there was items stolen from my property. What was stolen did not belong to me. It belonged to a person that was using my garage to store his equipment in. And I was out of town when this happened. I knew nothing more than that about it.
Now, I had done a lot of research on this, and I was going to do an update video anyways, because I had researched Kentucky law on the execution of search warrants and all the issues, all the red flags here. And that's mostly what I was going to discuss. So imagine my surprise when just this morning, this YouTube channel pops up. I think they called it Laurel County News. And it was just created like yesterday. And this is the only video there. This is perfectly consistent with somebody on the inside leaking. It looks to me like somebody on the inside associated with the mayor, I don't know, leaked a phone call from the 911 center. And that was a call the day after Doug was shot between the judge, David Westerfield, and a London County police officer named Hale. Now, this was recorded, best as I can tell, because the judge called the 911 center or dispatch to try to talk to this particular officer. So dispatch put him through to the officer and a conversation ensued. But the whole thing ended up being recorded because it was done through the 911 center or through dispatch. This turned everything upside down, and you'll see why. Now, I will link the full, uncut, unedited video, but I went through it several times and I pulled out the parts that I think you need to hear. So let's go through those now. Here's the phone call.
Dispatch. Go ahead. Got a guy on the line wanting to speak to you. All right. Sir, I've got you hooked in with Officer Hale. All right, thank you. Yes, sir, this is Officer Hale. How can I help you? Hey, David Westerfield. How you doing? Hey, David, what you doing, old buddy? Hey, baby, been up there to look at my place to see what was gone. Okay. They cleaned me up there, but I have no way of itemizing anything, so I ain't going to worry about my stuff. What I'd like to do, if possible, if somebody could question him and see what he done with my nephew's lawn mowing equipment. I don't know if that's a possibility. Well, I know they arrested him last night. Yeah, I do too. From my understanding, David, that search warrant come off of his arrest because he had said that he had took a weed eater down there to a dope dealer's house there off of Van Zandt. Okay. And the boy was shot and killed, right? Yeah, I understand. No, they called me at 1 o'clock this morning and told me all about it. So okay. I know all about that one. You know, I'm not going to worry about my stuff unless he sold it to somebody that's laying in a pile and I could identify it. I would like to see Charles, my nephew, get his stuff back if at all possible. I know they're working through it right now with some of the interviews. Well, that's all they can do then. I do know, and I will tell you this: I don't know who called you last night, but me and Jamie, the case got turned over to Elbert Riley, and he said he had worked a couple of cases for you before. Okay. If you're familiar with Elbert, do you know Elbert? Yeah. Yeah, I know Elbert well. Yeah, Elbert. Yeah, you guys just do your job, and I won't bother you. And the chips fall where they fall. I mean, it's hard to run this stuff down after it changes hands. I think probably gonna check a couple more pawn shops and stuff like that. I'd say I'd say he's tried to sell a lot of that stuff. I hate they cleaned you out, Dave, especially with everything going on, and especially right around Christmas time.
Well, and also I found out this morning if there's a homeless person staying back there in my back building, Jared, and
well, I'll tell you this: if you want me to, I can get up with both the night shift sergeants there and have them. So if we end up finding them trespassing verbally off the property and you want them hooked,
I do. And the thing is, Jared, he may have been carrying my stuff out of that building in settlement. The butcher boy that's been arrested may not have gotten all my stuff. It may be the homeless guy that's carrying it off. But if he's staying there, I'd like to have him arrested because his chances, he's a smoker, he'll burn my building. So, but if they get a chance, I know it's Christmas and all that, so maybe after Christmas they can maybe go by there. If not, I'll drive to town every night and see if he's there.
No,
and I really don't want to do that because I might do something unethical.
I know one thing. I'll take care of you. Like I said, you've always been real good to us. Miss Karen's always been real good to me. So I don't care one bit to do as much as I can to try to help you out. That's why I told Jamie yesterday. I said I'm gonna work my guts out on this case today to try to help David and them best I can. He said, well, he said, do you know David and Karen real well? I said, buddy, my mom adores David Karen Westerfield.
Maybe after Thursday or Friday, y'all can check it, and I know you got other stuff to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, just if we get something out of this guy, it would be good, that he's taken. If not, then we'll just go on. We'll just do what we can.
Absolutely. That's the best thing we can do, ain't that's for sure.
And we'll be good either way.
Well, I hope we've done our job pretty good for you there. We got pretty quick on it with that butcher boy. So
he's in jail, and that's his third PFO. So he's facing 10 years, and I'll see if I can't make that stick. I'm going to push it. I don't know what all he's got, but my stuff I can live without. But but just like I say, you guys just do what you can do, and you'll never hear the word from me. Yeah, just you guys just do your job, and if you need me, you call me.
Absolutely.
How's that?
And absolutely, and if you ever need me, you can holler at me too. And anytime you want to swing into mine and Sarah's place down there, you're more than willing to do that too. If I'm not at 7, I'm over at 80 Lane, hanging out with Danny's brother Steve, my father-in-law, and Danny most of the time.
Right, got you.
So, yep.
But I do appreciate you guys, and you guys have a good day and have a good Christmas.
Absolutely, Judge. You too, and you have a good Christmas too, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, see you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
So this flips the narrative completely on its head from the direction in which it was heading. And really it takes it right back to my initial hypothesis about what happened here, is that this only happened in the way that it did because it wasn't about a missing weed eater or any missing weed eater. It was about a judge's missing weed eater. In my opinion, this conversation tells the story of exactly what happened. The judge had this building. It had been a problem for some time. The doors didn't lock. People kept getting into it. In fact, a homeless guy not only kept getting into it, but was living in it. And apparently, the buttery dude also got into it and stole some stuff out of it. And it wasn't just anybody's stuff inside. It was his nephew's. It wasn't just a tenant. While he may say that his stuff wasn't stolen, he admits that all sorts of his belongings were stolen. In addition, his nephew's stuff was stolen. It sounds like the weed whacker may have belonged to the nephew. The officer admits that he initially took charge of the investigation for the judge, and he began to track this stuff down for the judge. Then another officer named Elbert took it over, who also had done things for the judge before and who was very close to the judge. The judge also tells us that right after Doug was shot, he was shot at, 11:53 p.m. At around 1 p.m., about an hour later, he was called by the London police, who basically briefed him on what happened. So they admit they were working on behalf of the judge in attempting to recover a weed eater. They admit to contacting the judge within an hour of accidentally going to the wrong house and shooting the wrong guy over the weed eater. And then remarkably, as if Doug did not exist or was not killed, they continue this conversation about how to get the damn weed eater. This Officer Hale basically says, we'll do whatever you want. He even calls him judge at one point. This is not a normal victim-police officer relationship. This is a judge-police officer relationship, and one that should not exist.
Like I say, you guys just do what you can do, and you'll never hear the word from me. Yeah, just you guys just do your job, and if you need me, you call me.
Absolutely.
How's that?
And absolutely. And if you ever need me, you can holler at me too. And
sort of like my famous case where the judge is going out and searching houses. It's no different if a judge calls police officers behind the scenes and says, hey, can you go do this for me? Can you go do that for me? That's not how judges are supposed to operate at all. And then the homeless guy, the judge is saying he wants him arrested because if he has to go out there and do it himself, he might do something unethical. I'm frankly just shocked. This is one of those examples where truth is stranger than fiction. Then on top of everything, this search warrant law enforcement told the media exists still has not surfaced. Why is it not surfaced? Because in Kentucky, there are very, very specific forms for search warrants and the affidavits that are used to obtain them that show that any search warrant would have to state with particularity the place to be searched. And there's no reason that they should have mistaken a single wide trailer 489 Van Zant Road with the home of Doug Harless at 511. I do think it was completely unintentional that they arrived at Doug Harless's home. As I mentioned in my prior video, when you search like Google Maps and you put in 489 Van Zant, it takes you right to the correct address. Same with 511. But as other people were pointing out online, if you use Apple Maps and you put in 489 Van Zant, where does it take you? Right to Doug Harless's home. I think their mistake was as simple as that. But you know what? Under Kentucky law, that shouldn't have happened anyways if they had a search warrant, because state law requires that should have taken place prior to 10 p.m. or just during the day. Here, they're doing it after 10 p.m., almost at midnight. And that can only be done in very, very special circumstances that have to be explicitly laid out in the warrant affidavit and approved by a judge. And I believe that's why they are not showing this warrant, because the warrant will absolutely prove that not only did they show up at the wrong address, but even if they had the right address, they were breaking the law. That's my prediction. My prediction is they are not going to release that search warrant unless they're forced to. I will definitely continue to follow this one, keep the information coming. You can also join the Facebook group. I think it's called Justice for Doug. And you can also help by sharing this footage, share. Keep the pressure on the Kentucky State Police and on the City of London to do the right thing. Release the footage and hold everyone involved fully accountable. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.
I'm engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly at the steps of City Hall, which is a traditional public forum.
Does someone have a First Amendment right to stand on the steps of City Hall in Little Rock, Arkansas, holding a sign that says, "God bless our homeless vets"? These two cops, who are clearly constitutional scholars, don't think so.
Do y'all want them off the property? So they do want you off the property. I apologize that they haven't let you. Well,
regardless of whether I'm homeless, I still have the right to.
No. I got you. I'm not saying that that's the reason. Without you answering that, due to the sign that I'm looking at, it's homeless. Okay, you're utilizing your amendments. What you're doing, though, also at the same time is loitering.
No. Soliciting is different. When you're out here begging for money, yes, it is. It's something different.
Are you disagreeing with the courts about that? I'm not.
What I'm telling you is I know you want an argument. That's what you're here. Your goal is. Here, listen to what I'm saying. You cannot be on government property, and this is state government, begging for money. It's one thing to stand here and just talk, freedom of speech, but it's another when you're holding a sign saying you're a homeless vet. Do you even have a VA card to prove you're a veteran, sir? Or are you falsifying that information? Are you a veteran? What branch? Okay, I was too. What was your MOS? Okay, because you probably weren't. I seriously doubt you were. Keep pointing your finger at me, sir, and I'm going to take it as a threat.
You're really not going to believe this infuriating footage from Jeff Gray. Which side here is actually ignorant of the law? Let's go through this footage because it's outrageous, and then I'll answer that question.
I tried explaining it to you, but you don't want to listen. Well, you're fucking ignorant.
Is there anything that's more pure protected First Amendment speech than standing in some traditional public forum such as the steps of a city hall and holding a sign that says, "God bless our homeless vets"? It's an expression of both political speech and religious speech. I mean, it doesn't take a constitutional scholar to understand that. But for some crazy reason, police officers and government employees from across the country can't seem to understand that. This is Jeff Gray. I've done videos on him before. He does exactly that at places like the steps of city halls in cities and small towns across the country. It was only a couple of years ago that Jeff Gray had filed a lawsuit supported by the First Amendment advocacy group FIRE against the city of Alpharetta, Georgia. To settle that lawsuit, the city had to pay Jeff $55,000 and agree to other terms such as providing training to police officers there on what the First Amendment means. Recently, Jeff went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and he held his sign there with his cameras rolling on the front steps of the city hall. And this may be one of the most egregious incidents that I've ever seen filmed by Jeff. Like he always does, Jeff is just standing there, not impeding any sort of traffic, not causing any disturbances. He's just being polite, holding his sign, and when people walk by, at most he says, "God bless the homeless vets." That's the point. He's causing no problems whatsoever. He's engaging in absolutely protected First Amendment activity, but like moths to a flame, these people, they flip out when he does this. And the reason that they flip out, I think, has everything to do with just the nature of his sign. It's this ratty cardboard sign that he carries around. It absolutely triggers them because it looks like he's panhandling. And that's sort of the whole point, because even though the federal courts have ruled many times that panhandling is actually a protected form of speech under the First Amendment. So what he's doing not only captures the political and religious expressions of "God bless the homeless vets," but it also does so in such a way as to cause these people to assume that he's soliciting charitable donations. And in almost every case, these people don't understand that even if he were doing so, that is specifically protected First Amendment speech. But just the nature of the sign causes them to completely go off the rails. It always starts with somebody from City Hall calling the cops. Then the cops show up. And that's exactly what happened here. And the first officer to show up was Officer Jackson of the Little Rock Police Department. And here's how that went.
What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? I'm Officer Jackson with Little Rock Police Department.
Yes, sir.
I've been advised that security has asked you to leave and you won't. What's the deal here?
They haven't asked me to leave. They just said they're not sure if I could do this or not.
And that's exactly right. As I mentioned before, ever standing there with his sign, Jeff sets up cameras because these government tyrants, what they always will do is lie. So the employees that call the police, they'll make allegations that he's causing some sort of disturbance or he's scaring people or whatever. Then the cops who talk to him will say he said something that he didn't say. And so he films everything. And so here's the actual reality of what happened with the interaction with the City Hall security guard prior to Officer Jackson's arrival, which is basically nothing.
Yes, sir.
You got to take it across the street.
No, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and stay right here for about 40.
You can do that right here.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and do it right here till I'm done, and I'll be on my way.
You can't do it right here.
I disagree with you. Why can't I do it? Can you tell me why I can't do it right here? Why would you call the police on somebody saying God bless our homeless veterans? Sir. Sir. Why would you do that? Can't you just leave me alone? Why are you guys calling the cops on a man standing on the steps of City Hall saying God bless the homeless veterans? Why is that? Why would you do something like that? Why can't you just leave me alone? I can stand over there, but I can't stand at the steps of City Hall and do this?
Okay. Do y'all want them off the property? So they do want you off the property. I apologize that they haven't let you know that. So.
Okay. Well, let me explain something to you first.
Go ahead, brother.
What I'm doing is I'm engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly.
Absolutely.
At the steps of City Hall, which is a traditional public forum.
Okay.
If they trespass me off of this property for engaging in my civil rights, you're going to be held liable, and they're going to be held liable, and the city's going to be held liable.
I got you.
So I encourage you, and I'm being polite
Yeah,
here.
no, hey, but we're on good terms, brother.
Yeah, I encourage you to contact the city attorney, contact the mayor, contact the DA, contact your supervisor, and let them know before you trespass me off.
I got you. Well, listen to me. Let's step over here. That way, if somebody comes over here.
I'd rather stand right here.
Okay. Well, listen to me.
Yes.
I get you got God bless on there. You're a veteran. Is that right? Okay. But are you homeless?
I don't answer questions like that.
Okay. Well,
regardless of whether I'm homeless, I still have the right to
no.
free speech.
I got you. I'm not saying that that's the reason. Without you answering that, due to the sign that I'm looking at, it's homeless. Okay. So at that point, I get you're utilizing your amendments. Okay.
Yes,
we'll just keep it that simple.
Free speech.
With that being said, what you're doing though also at the same time is loitering. Okay. It's not the principle that they are being biased against you being religious.
I'm hard of hearing.
You're good. It's not the fact that you're a veteran or that you're pushing your religion. It's the fact that you're loitering right on the front steps of City Hall. So you can simply just step on the public sidewalk and it'd be that simple.
Yeah, the steps of City Hall is a traditional public forum.
Okay. Well, what's your name?
I'd rather not give my name or anything like that.
Well,
I told you it was Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff.
I get that. What's your last name?
I'd rather not give my last name.
All right, well, listen. You're wanting me to contact all these people and all that stuff, so I am conducting an investigation. So therefore, I don't want you to catch a petty charge for obstruction.
It's not. I'm engaged in free speech.
I got you, and I'm doing my job.
Before you put me in cuffs, like I said, contact the city attorney or something like that, because I put you on notice that I'm engaged in
I got you. Listen to me.
activity.
Are you going to give me your last name and date of birth or not?
What would happen if I don't?
Obstruction.
Now, this should come as no surprise to you if you've watched many of my videos. Many police officers are indeed not constitutional scholars. Instead, many times they are taught that if they have any interaction with an individual at all, that they then have to get that individual's information for their police report, of course, or whatever. But what if the individual does not want to give their information? What if the individual wants to just walk away? Is that individual being detained? Because under the Constitution, if you care about the Constitution, if you respect constitutional rights, all constitutional rights, the Fourth Amendment is an important one. And the Fourth Amendment provides that if a police officer is going to detain somebody against their will, that is a seizure under the Fourth Amendment, which prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures. For such a seizure to be reasonable, the federal courts have said that a police officer must have a reasonable, articulable suspicion that some crime has occurred. Now here, there can be no doubt that what we have video of Jeff doing, standing there with a sign that says, "God bless the homeless vets," is in fact not a crime and is actually a protected First Amendment activity. As such, the police officer has no reasonable suspicion to forcibly detain Jeff against his will and to obtain his personal information against his will. But of course, people like this, there's no convincing them at the scene. The only thing you can really do is catch it on video, which fortunately was done here.
What does that mean?
It's you're either impairing or hindering or prolonging my investigation. You want me to contact city attorney and all this? I need to know who I'm speaking to. I'm not just going to call all these people and be like, hey, Jeff is wanting this and this to happen, when I've already given you a rundown of what needs to happen.
I'll give my ID under threat of arrest, but otherwise I'm not giving my ID.
What's your last name?
I'd rather not give my last name.
Okay.
If you're going to put me in custody and arrest me, I'll give you my ID.
I got you. Why are you making this so complicated, man?
I'm not making it complicated.
No, you are. You are.
And the security's making it complicated. You guys have the option of just leaving me alone and allowing me to exercise my free speech rights.
I understand that, but at the same time, my hands are tied. If, as an establishment, yes, it's the city hall, but you are loitering on their property. Are you?
I am not loitering. I am peacefully assembling on the property.
Okay. Well,
that's constitutionally protected activity.
I don't think you're going to go anywhere. Give me 1 second, okay? Who's y'all's high up to? He's not asking for money or anything, so it is kind of a complicated deal. It does just say God bless and the veterans and the homeless. So I mean, granted, he's stating he's just assembling peacefully there. So I mean,
because the reason why I called because I had employees coming in really uncomfortable with him standing out there. And my job is to protect them with everything going on.
Yeah. No, I get it. Are these doors locked? Or are we able to go in here?
Mr. Larry, the mayor's security, none of the mayor's staff was here. So I'm the supervisor of security.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if he was panhandling or something like that. But, I mean...
Well, can you ask him not to stand in front of the building? I don't care where he's standing.
Yeah, I've attempted to do that, and he just sat on his ways and, to an extent, knows his rights and the law, which is good. I mean, it was one thing. I read the sign, you know, because with the little information that I had, obviously I walk up and pretty reasonable to assume loitering. But then I start noticing the sign. It doesn't, you're not asking for money, nothing like that. I mean, just standing there. I can understand where it's reasonably seen as a suspicious or a nuisance in a sense, but he's not disturbing the peace. He's not, again, he's not panhandling. You know, I can do an information report, but I mean, even then, I mean, I'm kind of limited. I'm gonna run it by another senior officer real fast, but I could be wrong. But just from what I gathered with him, that might be where we just lead to, is just kind of limited.
And he is wrong. The First Amendment protects the rights of speakers to engage in public expressive activity, including solicitation of money, i.e. panhandling, without being compelled to identify themselves to government authorities. That's the Watchtower Bible and Tract case from the U.S. Supreme Court in 2002. So the First Amendment also protects the right to refrain from speaking, just as it protects the right to speak. The compulsory identification of a speaker requires, at a minimum, sufficient cause, according to the U.S. Supreme Court in the Buckley case from 1999. Therefore, if a police officer were to forcibly require Jeff to identify himself in order to continue to speak, that would violate his clearly established First Amendment rights, according to the U.S. Supreme Court. But as I told you, if you were expecting these police officers in Little Rock, Arkansas to have any basic awareness of constitutional rights, you're going to be very disappointed in everything else that you see in this video. So here is the second officer arriving. This is Officer Morris with the Little Rock Police Department. And she is absolutely something else.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. God bless some respect.
So has the other officer made contact with you yet, or is he inside?
Yes, he's inside talking.
Okay, has he talked to you yet?
He has. He said he's going to go in there and discuss with them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, government property, you won't be able to solicit. You'd have to go over somewhere on a sidewalk. You wouldn't be able to do it on the property.
What's your name?
Officer Morris.
Officer Morris?
Morris, yes.
Okay.
Morris.
Like I explained to the other officer, what's his name?
That's Jackson.
Jackson, Officer Morris. I'm engaged in constitution-protected activity in a traditional public forum. And if you guys trespass me or make me leave, you'll be held liable.
Well, so I don't know if you're begging for money because you're putting on there that you're homeless. So, and that's usually what the homeless people do. You still can't beg on public. That's not the point. If you're soliciting out here to get money because you're homeless, then you would have to go to the sidewalk and do that.
I am soliciting as free speech.
No. Soliciting is different. When you're out here begging for money, yes, it is. It's something different.
Are you disagreeing with the courts about that? I'm not sure.
What I'm telling you is I know you want an argument. That's what you're here. Your goal is. Here, listen to what I'm saying. You cannot be on government property, and this is state government, begging for money. You can go to a sidewalk because a judge, granted, you can stand on a sidewalk and beg because that is public property, and you can do that there.
I disagree with you. You're incorrect.
Well, no, I'm not. But no, I'm not. Just I'm going to talk to her for a minute. So be quiet for a second, please.
I'm talking to the mayor's chief security. He said, with him standing here, he have to go down on the sidewalk.
That's what I'm explaining. You're blocking the entrance, standing here begging. Go to the sidewalk, sir. All you gotta do is go to the sidewalk. And I don't know why. I don't know why. That's what they're saying. The mayor's saying this. Go to the sidewalk. You can either go to the sidewalk, sir, if you're out here soliciting for money, or we're going to take you for loitering for the purpose of begging. Yes, because you're loitering on this property.
You know what a lot of these First Amendment videos get wrong is the fact that the government does have the ability to restrict free speech. And it has a lot to do with where this is occurring. And that's why Jeff keeps mentioning that this is a traditional public forum. And what he means is there are different categories of locations under First Amendment case law that provide different levels of rights, basically, under the First Amendment, depending on where you are. You don't necessarily have the same rights inside a police department as outside on the sidewalk in front of a police department. So some places are more public than others, and some places are more restricted than others for various reasons. And some places are more traditionally public forums where people go to communicate these political expressions that they have. So why is Jeff on these City Hall steps? Well, now this is the same City Hall sidewalk steps in Little Rock, Arkansas, where for years there have been political demonstrations and protests. Here are just a few of those.
Again, we've met with you all before, and so we'll make sure we sit down and make sure that we go through this line by line and identify ways that we can be helpful.
And they're planning on continuing protesting. I know you guys said you might have another protest tonight. As this continues to evolve, this situation, and we learn more and we see more and we have more to show you, we will of course continue to do that. But for now, I'm live in Little Rock.
I think the main thing is that all these citizens need to know that they pay our salary. We exist because they allow us to exist. So there's no questions off limits. So if they want to stop and talk to us, they should have that right. They should be able to talk to us or drive down the street without feeling that they can't do so, freely.
And the protesters said after Chief Humphrey left, they felt so much more hope about change coming because of the answers that he gave them.
So those are just two examples. One, a protest regarding rent being too high. And in that particular one, they were sort of welcomed into the building, and then the city's chief of staff, addressed them. And secondly, during the George Floyd protests across the country, they were camped out there on those courthouse steps protesting with signs basically for days on end. And then you have the chief of police of the Little Rock Police Department going on the scene there and speaking with these people. Did you see him forcibly IDing any of them or arguing with them or being rude to them? No, he was being respectful of them and of their constitutional rights. Boy, it's a good thing that he did not send Officer Jackson or Officer Morris to go deal with that situation. If the concern is that they were impeding traffic into City Hall, I mean, compare what you just saw with what Jeff was doing.
Good morning, sir. God bless our homeless veterans, and please pray for our homeless vets. Have a blessed day. Did I block him from walking?
He was impeding no traffic. Nobody that walked in the building had any problem getting around Jeff. He wasn't causing anybody any problems.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now.
You're banned from here. I'm telling you right now, you're just banned. We're asking you to leave, we're asking you to call, or asking you to go. Just, it's time to go. Andrew?
My name's not Andrew.
Do you have an ID on you?
Yeah, my name's not Andrew.
Okay. Just got to make sure.
Okay. Andrew did. Get mixed up?
Yeah, well, I can. Yeah, I got to be able to see it.
It's my passport, man.
Okay. Thank you.
Call.
Right. After this hand, it's time to go.
I'm sorry?
After this hand, it's time to go.
Why?
Just, it's time to go.
Why? Why do I have to leave?
It's just time to go. That's all.
What does time to go mean?
It means you will cash you out and it's time to go.
Go where?
If you don't have anything further you'd like to say now, I'll give Mr. Cannell an opportunity if he wishes to ask questions of you. Mr. Cannell?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Taylor, you did not file any will for probate in the District Court of Butler County, did you?
No, sir.
And you got a 3-day notice from Ms. Hoshaw saying that they were the owners, and you made no response to that, did you?
No, sir.
You're not paying any rent. You're not paying anything to Ms. Hoshaw in order to stay there, are you?
Who do I pay rent to?
And just because you've decided that you're going to take everything after my mom dies, that's not how it's going to work out, I hope.
She left it to me, honey. She left everything to me.
All right, the next case I have is Janice Hoshaw et al. Versus Chris Taylor. The case number is Butler County 25 LM 1181. The plaintiff appears in person and by and through her counsel, Tim Cannell. Chris Taylor appears in person with court security and pro se. Are there any other appearances on this case?
No, sir.
I don't believe there are. Mr. Cannell, how are you wishing to proceed at this time, sir?
We're ready for trial, Your Honor.
And Chris Taylor, are you ready to go forward with trial as well?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Cannell, do you have anything you'd like to say by way of an opening statement?
Well, Your Honor, I represent Ms. Hoshaw. She's the daughter of Linda Pinion, and she is deceased. So Ms. Hoshaw and her sister went through a determination of descent. They're the owners of this property. There are 3 houses, and these 3 houses were occupied by trespassers. There were 3 lawsuits filed. 2 of those people did not appear, and there's a journal entry in your queue for those 2 items. Mr. Taylor has appeared. We think he's a trespasser, and we want to go forward and have that established.
All right. Mr. Taylor, is there anything you'd like to say by way of an opening statement, what you think the evidence will show?
The will that was left to me was left this property and contents and vehicles. I have the will with me today. I haven't filed it. I don't know how I'm trespassing. I was with Linda for 10 years, and then which the last 4 years, which I took care of her. She had leukemia, and she passes, and then they come out of nowhere. So I don't know how I'm trespassing. I've been there 10 years, and she left me the property. So I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm not a trespasser. Oh man,
Mr. Cannell, do you have any witnesses that you would like to call?
Can you swear both parties, Your Honor, Ms. Hoshaw and Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, Mr. Taylor and Ms. Hoshaw, if you'd both raise your right hand, please.
Absolutely.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Cannell.
Ms. Hoshaw, can you state your name?
Janice Tulane Hoshaw.
And are you the daughter of Linda Pinion?
I am.
Do you have a sister?
I do.
What's her name?
Michelle.
Michelle Crane. And do you have a power of attorney for her to be able to act in your mother's estate and with regard to this property?
I do.
When did your mom die?
December the 1st.
So that was of 2024?
Correct.
So more than 3 months have passed since the day of your mom's death?
That's correct.
Was any will ever offered for probate?
No.
Okay. So you waited 6 months after the date of your mom's death, and then did you and your sister file for a determination of descent?
Correct.
And are there 3 houses that we're initially concerned with?
Yes.
Where are they located? So there are 3 little houses, and these are kind of the last houses on the west side on the way out of town?
Correct.
On South Main.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you find out about your mom's death?
I found out 5 days after she had passed away, and I ended up having to call her hospice company is how I found out.
But were you getting some text messages from her phone during that period of time?
That's correct. She and I were still communicating via text messages, and then come to find out, Chris had been texting me off my mom's phone for 5 days.
This is Chris Taylor we're talking about.
Correct.
So prior to your mom's death, did she ever convey any interest to Chris Taylor? Did he have a legal right to be on the property?
Not at all.
Was he a tenant? Did he pay rent?
Not at all.
Since the time of your mom's death, has he paid any rent?
No.
Has he collected rent from the other people who live on the property?
Yes.
Okay. Did you give Mr. Taylor a 3-day notice stating that he was a trespasser?
Yes.
And did you get any response?
They told me they weren't moving.
Okay. And then when this action was filed, Mr. Taylor filed an answer that said, I quote, I may have COVID. That was the only response he made, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So are you asking that the court find that you and your sister are the record owners of this piece of property and that Mr. Taylor has no right to be there and that he and any other occupants be required to vacate the premises?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any conversations with one of the neighbors about what Mr. Taylor said he'd do if he had to vacate the premises?
Yes.
Who was that?
The owner of the country cottages is adjacent to the backyards, and his name is Joshua House, and he's the one that phoned me to tell me that if Chris was made to leave, that they were all going to put cement in the toilets to run the sewer system.
I don't even know this guy. Josh, I don't even know Josh House.
I let the officers know that there is since it hadn't happened yet, but they did note that because it's a threat against the property.
So are you asking that the court retain jurisdiction if the property is torn up either now because you don't know about it or by the time that Mr. Taylor leaves, you want the court to retain jurisdiction to grant damages?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
And if Mr. Taylor does not vacate the premises within 24 hours, you're asking that the court authorize a writ of restitution to get the property cleared, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I don't think I have any further questions for Ms. Hoshaw, Judge.
Oh. Mr. Davis, do you have any questions for Ms. Hoshaw?
Mr. Taylor?
Oh, one, I don't know who
Sorry.
Josh House. I don't know where this came from. I have no idea where. No, I'm not that type of person anyway. I don't have it in me. I was her caretaker for the last 4 years, and we were in business this whole time. So how am I trespassing? I don't understand. I don't. I just need to understand how I'm trespassing and how I have to leave after I've been somewhere 10 years. I'm just having a hard time understanding this.
Ms. Hoshaw, I think there were two questions in there. One, I think Mr. Taylor is asking how you esteem him to be trespassing, and why would it be the case that you would believe that to be true at this snapshot in time, given his long tenure there?
He was a handyman for my mom. He was nothing more than a contractor. And when mom passed, he decided that he had the property now. He doesn't live there.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I sure do. I have the whole time. I have paperwork. I even have the paperwork from KU Medical in Kansas City, where on all her medical, next to Ken has my name and emergency contact, my phone number. You know, what do you say to that? I mean, how could you possibly say that I didn't live there when you know I did? I hadn't even talked to you guys or seen these people until she died. They came out of the woodwork. Was it you and her sister that said that?
If I want you to feel free to ask questions that are tied back to Ms. Hoshaw's testimony, but you'll have to pause between questions to give her a chance to answer you.
Okay. I'm just a bit upset. I just don't. This is ridiculous. I'm not a trespasser. Wow. Okay. So what do you think? Just give me 1 second. So this is really what it's come to, Janice, really? Since, I mean, what is it you want from me? What did I do to you? I mean, you're lying under oath. I mean, what is it you're trying to gain? You're just trying to take the property from me and push me out on the street? I mean, what is the resolve here? Do I have to have paperwork, or I have a will that she made out? Last week you lied to the police and said that this was your property, and you tried to have my truck towed. You broke into the shop, threatened somebody with bodily harm, and I mean, and we hadn't even been to court yet.
Well, and Mr. Taylor, I do want you to not only feel like you have some latitude to ask some questions, but you'll also be given a chance to testify. But I think we're kind of in a mode of kind of asking several questions in pretty close proximity, where there isn't much of a chance for her to answer that question or those questions. And so if you do have questions for her and you want to put them to her one at a time, I want you to feel like you can do that. If you would rather just explain your position or your concerns and through your testimony, you're welcome to do that as well.
I'm here obviously because you know I got to find a resolve to this, because the fact that the truth of the matter is they've never cared for me, and I understand that's fine. Not everybody in life likes you, but for them not to be present or involved in any case of anything the last 4 or 5 years. And she passes, and all of a sudden, I'm this this guy that doesn't live there, and that this property's theirs, and I'm just blown away, really, and a little bit upset that there's not a lot of truth there. But the truth is that I've taken care of Linda for the last 4 years, and I watched her take her last breath, and I was there day in and day out. And she wasn't around then. Nobody was. It was just me, and it's very difficult. It's still hard to deal with, and now I have to deal with being under attack because they are claiming this is their property when it was left to me. I didn't ask for it, with all the accusations, the name calling, okay.
Judge, if he's got some questions, that's great. Otherwise, let's let him testify in turn, if that's okay.
Yeah. If you do have questions, Mr. Taylor, I don't want you to feel that you can't ask them, but if you're at the place where you'd just like to explain your side of the story, kind of in an unfettered way, I'm wanting you to feel like you can do that as well.
Okay, I just really don't know what questions to ask, other than, why are you doing this? What is the point? Janice, what is the point to what you're sitting here telling these people?
Because that was Mom's property.
Yes.
Michelle and I are Mom's children. And
You're not the only children.
You're being untruthful saying that we weren't in the picture. You're being deceptive because we absolutely were. We are. And just because you've decided that you're going to take everything after my mom dies, that's not how it's going to work out, I hope.
She left it to me, honey. She left everything to me. I mean, what is there to say to that?
Well, if you don't have any more questions for Ms. Hoshaw, I'll inquire of Mr. Cannell. Do you have any more direct examination for Ms. Hoshaw?
Just a few, Your Honor. Ms. Hoshaw, during your mom's lifetime, were the police ever called over to the house where your mother lived?
Multiple.
And was Chris Taylor involved in those calls?
They were always looking for Chris.
And was there a question that ever arose during those times as to whether Chris Taylor lived there with your mom?
She always said that he didn't live there.
Okay. So to your knowledge, there's no legal authority of any kind for Mr. Taylor to be on the property?
Right.
That's all, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Taylor, for this
that's
witness?
not true, but she can sit here and say what I mean, I can't. I have lived there. I mean, my kids' pictures are on the walls. I mean, I'm established there. I have mail there. I've been there this whole time. So I don't know where she's coming up with this. And the police, yes, I've missed court dates. I've missed your court dates before, Judge Murphy. Doesn't make me a criminal. I mean, at any rate, yes, I have missed court dates before, but I've lived there this whole time. I mean, I don't.
Mr. Taylor, any more questions for Ms. Hoshaw is what we're asking you.
No, I guess not. I don't even know what to say.
Well, and if you want a moment, we can pause for a short time to give you a second to think about what you'd like to say. But I would be interested to hear, if Mr. Cannell doesn't have any other witnesses, what your perspective is and your understanding of what's happened to this point. Do you need a moment, sir?
No, I'm fine. Okay.
But do you wish to tell me your side of the story?
The side of the story is I've been with Linda for over 10 years, and she's never gotten along with her kids, and that's none of my business, and I don't know why. I've never done anything to any of them. And now all of a sudden she passes away, and now I'm under attack, so to speak. And I don't know what to say. I mean, should I have an attorney, or, I have paperwork and I have the will, and did I do something wrong here? Or
Do you have any documents you'd like to offer as exhibits?
I would just like to find a peaceful resolve today is what I'd like to do. And that's what I'd like to do, is just find the resolve so I can get on with my life. That's basically it. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's where I'm at. I just want to get this over with. I've never dealt with these people before, and now I'm having to. I'm in a position of, what do I do? I'm not sure, but I haven't lied to anybody. I haven't been truthful, dishonest. I haven't done anybody wrong. So, God willing, that, I don't know. Never been in a position like this.
If you don't have anything further you'd like to say now, I'll give Mr. Cannell an opportunity, if he wishes to ask questions of you. Mr. Cannell?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Taylor, you did not file any will for probate in the District Court of Butler County, did you?
No, sir.
And you got a 3-day notice from Ms. Hoshaw saying that they were the owners, and you made no response to that, did you?
No, sir.
You're not paying any rent. You're not paying anything to Ms. Hoshaw in order to stay there, are you?
Who do I pay rent to?
The owners of the property, if you had a lease, which you don't.
I didn't. The owner was Linda Pinion, and she willed the property to me.
The owners of the property, if you had a lease, which you don't.
Resident Devil. Well, that's good.
Losers, please step forward. Well, we backed down and we gave up. Oh, we backed down and we gave up. Backed down and we gave up. We backed down and we gave up. Losers, please step forward. Well.
What's up, man?
Dude, where'd you get this bike? No way, I've been to the same place.
They still have one.
Can I feel it?
I don't care.
Oh man, she's gorgeous, I can just tell.
What you doing with that knife, though?
Oh, it's just my Romanian colors.
Your what?
I'm part Roman.
Okay.
This is basically the Romanian flag.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not trying to cause you harm.
Oh, you're fine, man. But I have my hand on my piece, just letting you know, just in case. What's up, man?
Big family. How are you related?
What's up, man?
Dude, where'd you get this bike? No way, I've been to the same place.
They still have one.
Can I feel it?
I don't care.
Oh man, she's gorgeous, I can just tell.
Big family. How are you related?
Oh, we're part of an 8-person transbian kitchen table polycule that all lives together.
I assumed. Has there been anyone in your life who the deal breaker was the kitchen table part of that?
No, well, the kitchen table kind of goes along with living together.
What does that mean, kitchen table?
In polyamory terms, a kitchen table polycule is a polycule in which all of the people in it get along and could hypothetically share a meal or a board game around a kitchen.
As opposed to a regular polycule where no one gets along at all.
They're solo poly, where no one knows they're metamours.
Oh, boy, I need a pen. That's it for that round, everybody! Big family.
Just got done filming a new BAM lidocaine stick commercial, and now...
Did they pay you as much as Right Guard?
No, but I have faith in this. But
there we go.
We're gonna get the ender of doing Beaver's gonna heel flip over my ollie in slow mo with the bubble lens on. I've done this 4 times in 4 different dates, and it still doesn't get unscary. Ready? Full commit right now. Cool. Here we go. I blasted it. I land on this one no matter what.
Deal.
Deal.
Prove it.
All right, I will. Here we go.
You got it. Yeah.
You ready? You ready? You know what? Just pan to me landing it.
Good morning.
Donna, before we get going, you'll recall the trial of the co-defendant in this case, where we got through certain testimony and with testimony, we decided to
It's very hard for somebody, I haven't drank in about 2 years, and to be around drunk people. It's just like, dude.
It is very difficult.
You have to be on the same level, or else you're just like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, so repetitive. They even talk over themselves to the point where having a conversation is pointless. You're not going to remember anyway.
Yeah.
When I was real heavy at drinking, my mom tried to sit me down and say, why don't you have a beer, then a water, then a beer, then a water? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Then what's the point?
Yeah,
the whole point is to get more fucked up.
They fight you.
I'm buzzed. Now I'm not. I'm buzzed. Now I'm not. Right. No. Drink. I'm drunk. That's the point.
Huh. Looks clear. Always check your corners. After the enhanced edition of the original and multiple demos of the remake, Night Dive finally released the whole thing a while back after a long journey. It's mainly gone over well, but in something extremely funny to read, it's gotten a lot of criticism for being too much like the original. And as someone who actually has played that, yeah, they kept an insane amount of things. Not only could I often find my way around from memory because the level design was so similar, but a guide from 1993 on where to go next and what to do would still work for this. So it really can feel like the world's biggest, fanciest remaster, but it's had so many changes that I was especially starting to feel near the end that no, it's definitely a remake. And a lot of problems that people have with the game being too close to the original aren't problems that game had at all. But it's easy to see why they would assume that. They hear the first game is information dense, but when they actually load it up, they learn it's more like information violence. That's when they turn the game off and complain on the Steam forums. And they're not wrong for that. System Shock does have multiple humps to get over. And lots to find, like the radiation sound. I'm saying for all the games that get horribly unnecessary remakes, this one's a lot more understandable and at the time of this video, still getting official support. While working on the video, they dropped a large 2.1 parity patch. I guess the game across all platforms could be wildly different until now? I mean, truth be told, I wanted to cover this game a lot earlier, but so much was rough around launch that I did not feel that compelled, and especially for a remake. But hey, we're here now. There's a lot to talk about that's new and cool on its own merits, but since I already made a video on System Shock proper, I am going to be doing a good amount of comparing, but trying not to repeat myself too much from before. The game itself is doing enough of that anyways.
It's been a beautiful day in New Atlanta. Sector 11 in particular has a beautiful sunset right now.
New Atlanta, like the old Atlanta, but with even deadlier vehicle collisions. A hacker breaks into the Trioptimum company's computers, finds some information they shouldn't, and gets shanghaied by the company. The display of skill in treating the law like a parrot's newspaper attracts Trioptimum's Edward Diego. By doing a job for him, not only will the charges be dropped, but the hacker will get a cool cybernetic implant. The task is to come to Trioptimum's Citadel space station and remove the ethical constraints of its overseer AI, Shodan. It near instantly becomes self-aware, but the hacker is being put under to get the implant installed. When you finally wake up from cryogenic healing, you get to see how Shodan's work has come along. So instead of slowly getting used to your cybernetics, you're taking them for an Italian tune-up every 35 seconds, exploring the station, trying to survive, and working with counterterrorism to stop Shodan from destroying all life on Earth. You could say this is the first case of the more things change, the more things stay the same, but the devil's in the details, so it's no coincidence the game starts off in Georgia. For starters, most of the opening takes place in first person. Some kind of drone flies through the city in a slick new credit sequence, and I don't want to fall prey to pointing out all the details there. But the first actual gameplay is now in the hacker's apartment, which is an interesting change for a few reasons. You get to explore a little bit, seeing what's all interactable. There are landmarks like the half-eaten donut box, the ruins of Big Pizza, the pristine 5-pound weights, and equally underused and spotless bathroom. Overall, it's not so bad. After all, you don't see much of the place in the original, but based on what I can see, it might have been a Reddit account and poop sock away from a Louis Theroux visit. But you get the whole experience here. This is System Shock. Wait, that is the Pacing-wise, it's a very light tutorial for basic controls, along with it being a way to add a bit more characterization to the hacker. It's nothing you couldn't really fill in yourself from before, but little peaks at interests. Like the guitar.
Potential. But don't just take our word for it. Take our new hacker.
Instead of only Citadel Station in general, the hacker is now shown to be specifically interested in the cybernetic military-grade implant. So during the recruitment, this is folded in more directly to Diego's offer.
You cooperate and I'll give you the implant you tried to steal. Surgery and all. Consider it a gift. Besides, what surgeon would you prefer? Tri-Optimum's Elite or some black market hack job? Fantastic.
The hacker remains silent, but I do like the character they added through hand animations during the game. Sure, silent protagonists can be a blank player stand-in, but even with broad strokes, the hacker was always a distinct character. System Shock always had an extremely fitting and punk ending. The remake just sprinkles that aspect around more.
Turn around! Now!
He's still the early 90s ideal hacker man, or hacker woman now. This has joined the list of System Shock's many new game options. It's just a cosmetic choice, and related to that, there are no longer text and audio logs referring to Shodan as a he, so there's no longer a need to headcanon a Jurassic Park situation to make it less distracting. Otherwise, the opening is a lot more slow, with the goal of more immersion, and that bleeds into just about everything. Die, it says. That seems a little on the nose. Oh my god! The graphics have gone through some changes. At its core, it has an art style I haven't quite seen in a game before, where the lighting and shadows and effects like smoke and fog are trying to aim for high fidelity. The same goes for all the 3D models in the world, and especially your weapons. That alone gets a special highlight, since before you could barely see the, well, barrel of your gun. Now they're all fully in modern FPS territory, with reload animations and everything else you would expect. And it's not like a bare minimum effort either, where everything looks stiff and bad. All your ranged weapons have a great amount of detail and weight to them. I mean, to be frank, as much as I enjoy the Shock games, I'm not attracted to them for their gunplay. No, definitely not. But even if gun feedback was just fine at best, it was everything surrounding that made it interesting. What resources did you find, and what did you bring to the fight? What skills or powers did you invest in? Did you leave something behind that could have been helpful here? So my bar was not high, but boy did they over-deliver. The Magnum, maybe being one of my favorite video game handguns, was not something I expected going in. I probably should have dropped the thing off much earlier into my run, but I just had too much fun quick drawing with the thing. Whoa! Fuck, I wasn't fast enough. I found myself using a lot of weapons I didn't too much in the original, just purely from the weapon feedback. There were still times I could feel stiff, but in ways that made sense. An early game weapon might not be that visually satisfying until it's had some kind of upgrade. Even these can start to fall off with deadlier enemies, but then you really feel the power difference in the weapons meant to replace them. It's still a scavenger-based economy, so even if you do have to bring up an old weapon, you likely have a lot of rounds for it. The remake kept things like ammo types and multiple power levels for energy weapons. So sometimes stiff enemy feedback is incredibly intentional, and it means you're using the wrong weapon for this, forehead. Stop using buckshot on armored robots. This is why you weren't selected for the 30-person group interview at Best Buy, and instead cashed in a coupon at a rotting pizza chain meant for a family of 3, and then watched Gattaca.
I never saved anything for the swim back.
It works fine on the dinosaurs, though. God, do I hate these dinosaurs. Holy fuck! Yeah, he's dead. And sure, sometimes enemy feedback to being shot can still look weird, either like they're too stiff or a living pool noodle, and this can especially go for melee. It's much better than the release version, and one of the main reasons I put the game off for later, but it's still visually the most inconsistent. A great example is the lightsaber, which has returned as the glorious endgame melee weapon. It is pure searing heat death that drains your energy bar and... Oh, hang on a second. There we go. It is pure searing death that drains your energy bar, but it only feels that way some of the time. I land a hit on a cyborg drone, he goes to pieces. Then I land a charged attack on a cyborg surgeon, and it's like I hit him with a pool noodle. So your mileage may vary. The sound design ties into this as well, like the metal weapons just being a dull thunk. But just hitting a wall and seeing funky animation resets makes me think there could be more going on under the hood. To be fair, System Shock is more built around guns, and it's good the focus was there, but it's especially noticeable in the early game, and later on if you do use the rapier. It does stick out more because when the enemy hit reaction is good, it's really good. In fact, where weaker weapons do worse against better foes, one of the greatest joys is bringing an overpowered weapon to a weaker enemy. Usually you're supposed to be able to search their fallen remains for loot, but sometimes, if you kill them hard enough, there is no corpse to loot because the item exploded out into the level. He died so hard his loot table went to the afterlife. It does have its quirks, but I found fighting enemies in this game really visually satisfying. But going back to earlier, while they're aiming for these high quality effects and models, if you stop and look around or just stare at your hands and weapons, most surfaces are this low res, unfiltered texture look. You can especially see it laying down on the surgical beds. When I first saw this in the demo a few years back, I wasn't sure what to make of it, because it is a neat idea to give textures a pixelated look to call back to the original, but then combining that with modern lighting and effects while keeping so much of the original game's layout, that seemed like a recipe for all sorts of things to go wrong. Especially since I've played some games in that realm that really went wrong. See, we have two very different forces here, a push for realism and a push for a retro aesthetic, and it's extremely easy for those to push against each other. After all, you can practically see the graph paper these levels were designed on. Big detailed squares, almost like an HD mod for a game, which this kind of is. It's tricky because they did achieve a lot in making an appealing art style, especially in the environments that were meant to be living spaces. Like, you could always tell the executive floor was supposed to look nice, but now, this is luxurious. You can see bits where it seems like they're trying to draw from BioShock or Prey, which is completely appropriate, but it is its own distinct style, with dark wood paneling and dramatic lighting, lots of black marble and reflective surfaces like gold and bronze. Depending on the room you're in, you could lose sight it's on a space station, which would have been the architect's intention, make it seem like some kind of cruise ship or lounge. The original game had these elements too, but this feels much more real and lived in, but still surreal and otherworldly due to the level design, which, according to a text log, was completely intentional for Citadel Station. They were meant to be rats in a maze so the company could study their psyche. That does sound right for Trioptimum. Still, I would say the areas clearly meant for human living and not pure sci-fi dungeon hall are a huge welcome improvement that does add a lot of life and character to the game. That's not to say every vague technology hallway is bad, but boy, there's a lot of detail here, to the point that calling it visually busy isn't strong enough. This game can hit Bangalore levels of crowding. I came in with knowledge of these maps and was still getting turned around from time to time. The layouts are very close, but the original game wasn't nearly this noisy. The area I remember getting the most lost in was the engineering deck, which looked like this, mainly because it was the most gray and repetitive, where things sort of blended together. It still had some landmarks and sometimes literal signposting, but it was the worst out of the game I'd played so far. The new engineering is much darker, and everything is covered in greebles. And sure, it is more pure raw detail, but at the cost of readability. Navigating this engineering is way trickier than the old one. Plus, this is a game you're supposed to be finding lots of objects in, many of them tiny, to the point that the old sense round upgrade was changed. At its max level, it was basically a rear view mirror, which I only used a few times. So I'm not hugely mourning its loss, but sense around here is an item marker for the minimap. I eventually had this thing on near constantly because it could be so easy to miss a critical item. I only found its first upgrade because I had it on. Do you see it? I would have missed that. I'm sure it was the intention in this case, to use the item to find the upgrade, but in the original's cleaner look, it was way harder to miss items. They were colorful and stuck out, so you could quickly clear a room and be on your way. Now, those same items might be on shelves with a bunch of other junk items. They do add shimmers and glows to try and help you out, but again, with some areas being so busy, it's easier than ever to miss something critical. And when it looks like I'm deep in a hell made for gaming PCs, and I can't rely on my senses, I rely on sense around. A lot of players assumed this was an out-of-date design problem, but it's a too much detail problem. Along with the fact that junk is no longer really junk. The remake added a completely new item economy where you could take objects to a recycler and break them down for coins. The lore is that TriOptimum basically gives companies scrip as a reward for recycling and keeping the station clean. However, it has to be purposeless.
Why were you late for court?
I was sorry, I was walking over from the parking.
All right, you just never seem to time things well.
I was trying to get close to parking spot today.
Yes,
So
but you had all day to get a close parking space. You know what? If you're going to be late in life, you're going to miss out on things. You understand? Because you were late today, you know what I could do? Have the deputy take you into custody and take you to jail. And then you know what happened with your vehicle? Your vehicle would probably be towed wherever it is. You understand? Do not be late in your life, not just for court, but for anything, because people are depending on you to show up on time when you say you're going to be on time. You understand?
maybe excuse Judge, I have a
Yes.
in the morning.
All right. See you in the morning.
All right, see that.
All right. And could I see Eric Gonzalez Lopez? Where is Mr. All right, Eric Gonzalez Lopez and Fraulein Guzman Velasquez. Where is he? Well, we'll take up your matter, Kathy.
Thank you.
And which one is your client?
Eric Gonzalez Lopez.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez Lopez. Yes. All right, we're going to go on the record. And the reason why we're going to go on the record for this is because of the new evidence that may or may not be available. Court is calling 2022 CR 10958A, State of Texas versus Eric Gonzalez Lopez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Kathy Compton for Mr. Gonzalez Lopez.
And are you Mr. Gonzalez Lopez?
Yes.
All right. And if the interpreter, if you could raise your right hand for me, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony, I'm sorry, do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Arlene Abrams, license number 2081.
All right, we were scheduled for a jury trial. However, there's been new evidence that there's no way the state would have known or the defense would have known. Is that correct for both parties?
Yes, Your Honor, we found out about it, or I really found out about it along with the defense yesterday.
And I think the scope of what we needed to both see was greater than what either one of us anticipated. So I would agree with that.
All right, so how much time are you all asking for? I want to make sure that both parties have the information that they're looking for.
So Judge, right now, we sent an email out on this case to our investigator. The jail said that they would compile the list of visits concerning Mr. Gonzalez Lopez. And I believe those are ready to be picked up. We just haven't had the ability really right today to go do that. So I'm assuming that those are going to be uploaded relatively shortly and we can provide that to defense via e-discovery.
All right, and the visits, I'm assuming were done by video?
Yes, Judge, that's my understanding.
And nobody knows how long those visits took place, correct?
No, Judge.
Do we have any idea or approximation of how many videos?
So in speaking to the detective detective indicated to us that there was about 3 or 4 visits concerning Mr. Gonzalez Lopez. He said that they all varied in length. I don't think he ever gave a specific time as to how long each video or visit was. Did he, Kathy?
No, and I think that there were some other visits that Hank had requested too, so I think the total is gonna actually be a little bit more than that, but I would think that they were probably, I mean, generally speaking, the visitations are about 45 minutes to an hour, generally. My only concern is that I'm in the middle of preparing for a murder case that's, I think.
No, I will, yes.
So.
Well, I can tell
I
both
just wanna have
parties.
time to look at everything.
No, I'm going to give you all both time to look over everything and also schedule a trial date if that's what's decided. And I'm assuming the visitations, and this is assumption on my part, took place in Spanish.
Yes.
That's
so-
the assumption.
And so maybe there's a transcript needed, maybe not. And then there's the other issue of if he was presenting himself as an attorney, is that attorney-client privilege, even though he's not an attorney? So I think
Well, I
those
could
are
say that's
issues.
a definite no.
Yes. Yeah, no, he's not an attorney.
I would say that
But-
there is, I certainly don't think there's any privilege that would keep me from looking at things.
No, that, what I mean is if, and this is just me asking a question, if somebody has case law on it because new things pop up, the question is going to be, what did your client say? And whether or not this person was holding himself out as an attorney and he assumed that's his attorney, whether or not that equals attorney-client privilege. That I don't know. So people may want to start doing some research on that.
Yes, Judge.
Because I would think that if you're speaking to your attorney, you would probably tell them things. Not saying that it would be anything incriminating. We just don't know.
Well, I just want to make sure that my client's rights are protected to the absolute fullest extent of the law, as I know everybody here is interested in doing, because that is our ethical duty.
Yeah.
So I think just giving us some time to look through those things to see if they're pertinent, and we can address it together once we all have a chance to look at everything.
All right, well, off the record for a moment. This is what I think. And this is just me looking ahead. Depending on if this person presented himself as an attorney, then it may be items that the DA's office should not be looking at or looking to transcribe. So I would think it will probably be prudent on the state's part and everybody's part is if the items are obtained for the state not to look at them until it's determined if this person was saying, I'm your attorney. And then everybody look into case law on what makes attorney-client privilege. If you're dealing with someone who's not actually an attorney and you assume that they're attorney, does that still give you attorney-client privilege? And it may be something that the state should not review.
If you think that that would be the best way just to avoid any further complications, potentially, I would be more than happy to go ahead and, well, and I think the same goes for Mr. Leal with his client. We could review those, and if we do think that there's an issue, we could certainly bring that to the attention of the court.
All right, we're back
your
on,
review.
okay, all right, we're back on the record. These are my thoughts. If you all obtain all the information, and if both parties want to put it under seal, I'll review it. Of course, I'll have to have an interpreter. And if I review it, and if it appears that that person is presenting themselves as an attorney and as his attorney, and then I will let you all know, this is what has happened. This person has presented himself as his attorney, then everybody can file whatever motions they want to file as to whether or not the state should have privy to that.
I would feel much more comfortable with it going to you, even if it has to be transcribed or translated, and then you making that call, because I think that that puts the responsibility, I guess, that heavy burden where it needs to be as far as making any calls on who gets what.
All right. And so just so everyone know, the part that I'm going to listen to is whether or not this person meets with your client by video or in person and presents himself as his legal attorney.
Yes, Judge.
And then once that's determined, I will let you all know. He says he's his legal attorney. Then you all will do research. I will do research on whether or not that's attorney-client privilege, even though that person, we're assuming, is not an attorney.
Yes.
And Judge, what I was gonna do, because I did request the visits for Mr. Liao's client as well. I took that step. What I was gonna do is see if our investigator can go through sort of the same process that he did on this case, because my understanding is that they're supposed to be put on a flash drive.
Yes.
And then he's just gonna pick them up. So I'm gonna see, I emailed about Mr. Liao's client maybe about an hour and a half ago. So it might just be easier,
right.
just to say, hey, can you just do the same thing?
All right. And Mr. Leal, could you state your name for the record, please?
Rafael Leal.
And Mr. Leal, you're representing Caroline
Juan Velasquez.
and cause number 2022 CR 10958B. Is that correct?
Correct.
And he's also in custody and he's in the courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor.
So it's the court's understanding then that neither defense attorneys would have an objection to the state not reviewing the videos that this person may have had with your clients, the video visitation on video or in person, that I will receive the evidence that they have. I will have an interpreter and it transcribed to see whether or not this person presented himself as the attorney of your client, Ms. Compton, and your client, Mr. Leal. And once that's determined, then you all will have to do your research. I will do my research, and it'll become a question of whether or not attorney-client privilege was established. And of course, if it was, then the state would not be entitled to this information. It would just go to the attorneys. Is there any objection to that from either defense attorney?
No objection from my side, Judge. I only have a question. Has those videos been reviewed by anybody, any detective who understands the Spanish language or anybody else in the district attorney's office? That would be my only question. Perhaps they have already reviewed those things
May
at
I
this
speak
point.
to that, Judge?
Yes.
So my